Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, in Newry, Maine, a picturesque bed and breakfast in the ski country of Maine becomes the site of some truly awful horrors. But the question isn't so much who as why. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another exciting, crazy, nutty, I don't even know what to call it, edition of Small Town Murder. We have a weird story today. Just a weird, anytime you dip into Maine, you start thinking it's like Stephen King shit. Yeah. And this is a Stephen King story that Stephen King didn't think of. Because it actually fucking happened. It's a weird Stephen King story where it's like, why?
That's the thing about Stephen King is those
Creepy,
things
man.
didn't happen.
Yeah,
This one did.
Yeah. So this is Stephen King in real life here today. So we just want to thank everybody also, little house cleaning here. Thank everybody for their reviews this week. Those purple icon, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, those reviews help us a ton. Yeah. They really do. They help drive us up the charts. So if you haven't done it yet, please get on there, Apple Podcasts, and give us 5 stars. I know it takes a second to sign in, but it takes a lot longer to put together crazy stories. So if you want to help out the show, that's a really good way to do it. Get on there. It doesn't matter what you say. It's not for our ego. No. Your words can't fix us.
No.
So just say anything you want. Doesn't matter. But the 5 stars are the important thing. And that goes for any platform you listen on. Doing that would be extremely helpful. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com where you can get all of your small town murder and crime and sports needs. Yeah. Also, there we have everything on there, including tickets to live shows.
Hell yeah.
You know that the first leg of the tour coming up very, very soon here in July. Tampa and Orlando, you're up first.
Yep.
Don't embarrass yourself.
No.
You're already Florida.
Yeah.
So right away, don't embarrass yourselves.
Orlando, redeem yourselves for
Yes.
the Casey Anthony shit.
Do
Let's
that.
go.
Come on, let's do that. Come see us out there. And Columbus and Cleveland in August, come out there and see us. Please
Cleveland,
do that.
You got that Ariel Castro shit.
That's
Come on,
what I mean.
let's
Come
go.
on, we'll talk about something else besides that. Promise it won't have happened in Ohio. We'll go outside of that
Just
for
be
you.
better than those people.
Be better than them. Do all of that. Get those tickets. The Charlotte tickets just went up last week, so those are there if you're just catching up on the show now. You can get everything, all of your merchandise and everything for Small Town Murder and Crime and Sports. And if you're not listening to Crime and Sports,
What's going on?
I don't know what you're doing. Yeah. I really don't. It's
how busy is your life?
I guarantee you're missing it because you don't have to like sports. It's better if you don't.
Yeah.
It's really better. We do shows. It's real. We call it a lot of crime, well, some sports because the guy played sports, and you're just like, this is his background. Here's why he's an idiot.
That's the reason he didn't have to.
Yes. So there we go. We chronicle a fall from grace. Listen to that. If you want to be an even bigger, giant, awesome help to the show, you can do that. You can become one of our producers, our favorite people in the world who are going to gush about glowingly at the end of the show. You can do that very easily by going over to patreon.com/crime and sports or heading over to PayPal and using our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. You can do that, and good God, are we appreciative of everything you guys do for us. Yeah. And that said, it is time for the disclaimer. It's a comedy show. Yeah. This is a comedy podcast. I assure you all the facts are real, as horrible as they are. They're all factual and real, but we make jokes.
We do.
We're comedians.
Yeah.
We're going to make jokes at the expense of weird small town, a police force that can't find a murderer that's right under their nose, maybe somebody who killed people for no reason or for some reason or whatever. We're going to pick on these people. But what we don't do, we go out of our way not to do, is we don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families because we're assholes. But we're not scumbags.
Shit, yeah.
That's how that works here. So we think that strikes a nice balance, and we think you're going to think so also and have a good time. And if you don't, though, if you think true crime and comedy should never mix, this is probably not the show for you.
You should run.
You should take off. Have a good one. You want something serious? Dateline is great. Things like that. You want to hear someone solemnly, and then he sawed her head off from the show. That's fine. That's on you.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to make it a little looser and a little lighter for you.
I can't listen to that.
No. We're going to try to make this a little more palatable. Yeah. If that sounds good to you, it's time, damn it.
Great.
Be a part of it. Stand up on your desk. Stand up, stick your head out the car window. Scream from your treadmill. Shut up
and give me murder.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
I'd love it.
What do you say? We're coming up from last week, coming up from down south.
Oh, yeah.
So coming from South Carolina there in the
so south
in the woods there in South Carolina, and we are going to head north. We're going to go. This is the north south.
Real quickly, lots of people were very upset that we have no idea what kudzu is. Kudzu. You know what? I think
it's kudzu.
I didn't even absorb what they wanted me to absorb.
No, we
fuck the pronunciation.
We do not care about you about your invasive weed species that we don't have to deal with because we don't live there. So sorry,
it's not everywhere. It's yours.
Not. Yeah, I don't know. I've lived in New York and Arizona, and it's not in either place that I know of. Never heard of it. So I did my best. Tried to represent the kudzu nation to the best of my ability. So let's go on a trip. We're going up to Maine, and Maine is thought of as many things. Quaint.
Yeah.
Pretty, weird,
cold,
all of those things, damp.
I think of lighthouses and lobster
and Stephen King novels because they all take place there, and it seems to fit because Maine there's a lot of small towns, and Maine is one of those places that feels like no matter where you are in Maine, you feel like it's not whatever year you're in.
Right?
Actually, you're like, what year is this? Wait,
Stephen King nailed it.
Is this Stand By Me? Am I in Stand By Me right now? What the fuck?
Stephen King nailed it because just driving down the street in Maine, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
For a second, you go, this is fucking weird.
It's weird.
It always feels
gorgeous
weird.
And a little bit creepy in kind of a weird, kind of a cool way too, because it feels a little creepy. I don't know. It's weird. In this place, this story is like The Shining went Maine. The Shining goes east. Yeah. That's what we have here. Super weird. It's Newry, Maine. Newry, Maine. It's in in western Maine. This isn't like over by the East Coast or anything by the ocean. This is the other side up in the mountains. This is a ski area.
Great.
At Ski Mountains, western Maine, right near the New Hampshire border. Kind of if it was a little south more, it would be in the Panhandle. It's heading toward a panhandle. We'll put it that way. But this is a beautiful, picturesque area where people come to, vacation and shit. It's 2.5 hours to Bangor, Maine, 3 hours and 15 minutes to Boston, and 2 hours and 15 minutes to Kittery, Maine, which was episode 71, our last Maine episode in May of 2018. So it's been over a year since we've been to Maine, unfortunately. This is in Oxford County, zip code 04261.
One of the first.
Love those zeros.
Yeah.
I tell you, start in the north, start in the corner, fucking work your way west. Area code 207. It's a big area, this area. It's 61 square miles.
Wow.
Because it's woods and mountains and rolling hills and roads that go through that. It's not like just a little town square with a couple of blocks or anything like that. The motto here, they don't have much of a motto, but they're trying. This is, they should have probably hired a marketing company for this one. Their motto is, quote, "We have a covered bridge, so there's that."
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if the tourists are flocking there, but there's also skiing. But they're trying. Like, see? Look at it.
There it is.
You can take pictures. Everybody wants to do that.
It's covered.
Take your wife there.
Yeah.
She'll think it's pretty. I don't fucking know. She'll go, "It's so quaint."
Yeah.
You go, "I know." That's what Maine is. It's quaint.
The whole goddamn place is.
It's quaint and creepy at the same time. An equal mixture. Which quaintness is kind of creepy anyway.
Well, it's really just the quiet.
Yeah.
Because it's beautiful and it's amazing, and you'd expect there to be some noise, and then you walk outside and you're like,
other than like a of like the ship. Other than that, there's
like a blowhorn in the back.
Maybe someone pulling up a lobster cage or something. Other than that, out of the water.
Like Gordon's fisherman guy.
Yeah.
Everything's so quiet.
It's a good point here. This place was first called Sunday River Plantation back in the day. It was settled back in 1781. So as a lot of these East Coast places are settled a long ass time ago by Benjamin Barker and his two brothers. They were from Massachusetts, and they also brought some other guy with them who was not one of their brothers. But they're only there about a year when the settlement is plundered by Indians. And they abandoned it. They were like, "Fuck this."
Too cold to fight.
We didn't think it was like that. Shit. Back to Massachusetts with us. We didn't expect a plundering. Jesus Christ. We just fought the British. Now we're being plundered? What's going on here?
When you got to fight in the cold, that is the worst.
Oh, God. High stepping through the snow away from... No.
And every punch hurts worse.
Oh, Jesus.
No matter you take it or you deliver it, it's going to hurt.
Arrows and axes probably really hurt, too.
All those hurt worse.
Yeah. So a John J. Holmes of New Jersey, he purchased the land in 1794, unafraid, unswayed by plundering. He purchased the land and put his sister's name on the deed, which was Bostwick. So it became the Bostwick Plantation. And then
wanted or some shit.
Who knows? Maybe she had better credit. I don't know. Maybe he was in the middle of a divorce. He's like, I gotta hide these assets.
I want to own a fucking town.
How do I hide my assets? I'm asking my lawyer because she's fucking coming for me, man. It's ridiculous, It says, back then, and he's from New Jersey. That's why I gave him that accent. Hey, this fucking broad. Yeah. I gotta go all the way to Maine to get away from him. What am I? Is she gonna take my farm too now? No. So, it's purchased by him here. It was renamed, in 1805, Newry, because the people who came there then in 1805 were from Newry in Northern Ireland. Okay. So they decided we're going to name this the same shit, even though it's completely different. Right. Way different. Not a lot of skiing in Ireland. No? It's not a big ski town. I don't think anyway. I could be wrong.
Not a lot of lobster out there?
Well, it's a very small place. Yeah. So I always see, it doesn't look like it snows much. It looks like it's mainly wet and damp. So I can't see it being like, wet and damp in one area than like a snowing. There's no giant mountain in Ireland I'm aware of.
Also, I've never seen many people dancing very happy and excitedly in the snow. Yeah. And in Ireland, they dance happy all the fucking time.
Skiing drunk is difficult. Yeah, Let's be honest here. So... Even if they had a mountain, they'd be like,
sober is difficult.
That mountain. It's too much. So, yeah, there was a trade route here from Portland kind of to New Hampshire, Portland, Maine up to New Hampshire. That was completed in 1802, and it passed through Newry. So that's how Newry kind of became on the map, I guess. Farms started to get established. There was excellent soil here, so that was a good thing. The hay was their principal crop.
Oh, yeah.
That seems like unsatisfying to grow hay.
I don't know. I mean, you got to have, but that.
I made hay.
Yeah. But that's how you fuel everything that's out there at that time.
Like if you make like corn, if you grow make corn, if you grow corn, you can like look at a, you can be like, look at that, that's fucking beautiful.
Just a field full of hay.
What the hell is that? Great. The cow's excited, but it does nothing for me personally. I don't know. There's nothing artistic about it. No. I guess the hay crop, but I guess it's necessary.
It's essentially the gasoline of the day,
it's needed. It's needed and all, but it's no fun. You can't look at it and go, look at my prize-winning hay.
Right. I refine the fuck out of this hay.
I grow the largest hay in the county. You forget it. Wait till you see me at the fair. I'm going to show it all off.
I'm going to choke your fucking horse with this.
I'm going to put it in bales. Your horse's dick is going to be hard 24/7. That's what this is. It's like a aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
It's basically like grinding up a rhino horn, except in hay form. Your horse is going to be a monster after he's had my hay, goddamn.
Deer antler and bull piss.
That's what it is.
For your horse to drink. Eat. He's going to be chewing it.
Oh, he's going to be just munching it, but jacked up because it's also kind of like a horse cocaine. So he's really going to be eyes going, looking for something to mount. Watch it. What I'm saying is put your horses, make sure they're in the stable when you give them these hay. Or...
don't try to shoe him after you feed him because he'll fuck you.
He's going to fuck your head. He's going to fuck your head like nobody's business. Ear hole, eye hole, he doesn't care. So I would be careful. Be very careful. My hay is strong stuff. So I guess the slopes of the mountains were really nice pasture land for grazing animals because of the way the shit grew on the side, which is like that in a lot of places. There was a sawmill and a grist mill built on the Bear River. And by 1870, they had a booming population of 416, which is nice there. And then later on, it became more of a ski place as, kind of the farming went away. Yeah. And once skiing kind of became a thing and you could just make money from having land, it was kind of...
just charge people to be on your mountain.
Yeah, it kind of went the other way and people would start building different like bed and breakfasts and inns and shit like that.
Classing this shit up.
Cater to people, and that's what a lot of these old farmhouses turned into inns.
Okay.
And that's how it worked, and that's where our story is going to take place today. We'll talk about that. In 1960, a U.S. Air Force tanker of the 380th Air Fueling Squadron took off from Plattsburgh to refuel a Strategic Air Command bomber. And I guess they were supposed to, this one was supposed to rendezvous with this B-47 bomber at 15,500 feet. There's an aerial fueling area over Newry, but as the bomber maneuvered into refueling position, a lubrication failure, that's never good for anybody.
That's terrible.
In any capacity, that's going to be bad. Caused the tanker's outboard port engine supercharger impeller to disintegrate. Oh, no. Now, impeller fragments, they say, leaving the engine caused fuel leakage, and the bomber burst into flames and broke away from the formation, and the whole thing was very, very bad. The tanker took kind of a left turn, and it became a spiraling spin as if the whole thing, everything started burning. 7 miles away, 300 people that were at a drive-in theater could see a giant ball of flames go through the air.
Look, Ma, shooting star.
Wow.
That's a tanker,
That
son.
is a lot. It's a big fucking shooting star. Yeah. Holy shit. Why is it orange?
Right.
And on fire. So the fuselage here impacted a forested slope of granite and caused a fireball so big it was seen 50 miles away.
Wow.
That's some shit. That's a fireball. Only a few people on board. It's a refueling tanker thing, but it wasn't a passenger deal, but
still sad.
They found the port wing tip in Howard Pond, which was 3 miles from where they crashed.
My
They found the tip of the thing. There was no survivors. It was a 5-man crew on the tanker. No survivors. I guess the wet vegetation kept the fire from spreading because you're in a mountainous, kind of moist area. But fuel covered the trees and there was a lot of trees around that caught on fire from the fuel, and a 5-acre hillside field you could see it for years, they said. For years and years, you could see a big, giant 5-acre place where it was not.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not correct.
And that's a plane
shit was messed
of that size. I've seen a plane crash before. You ever seen a plane crash site?
It's fucking crazy.
It is. So there's a flying school out here near the Deer Valley Airport.
We got a lot of sky, I would imagine.
Yeah. And I watched. There was a girl who was in a plane and it malfunctioned, and she took it down. And if she hadn't bounced off a mountain, she would have hit a fucking trailer park and probably wiped the whole shit out. She bounced off a mountain and landed on her own.
Did we prevent a tragedy?
or do we or create one?
Fucking lady drivers, man. See, this is what. No, I'm just kidding.
And she bounced off a mountain and landed upside down, and she ended up dying of her injuries later. She didn't die in the plane crash.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. They got her out of it and took her to the hospital, and then she died.
Impressive.
But again, there's fucking marks on the mountainside, then there's this giant fucking area. Yeah. It is. And that's a tiny ass plane.
Yeah,
so
this is a
shit would have been
bomber.
A monster.
And all the fuel too that sprayed everywhere.
And that's what it does. It carries fuel on purpose.
Absolutely. So in this town, though, like I said, it's become a ski resort area. Now, one thing, if you're kind of if you're an entrepreneurial type, this is in March. They put this up. The 2019 paving bid invitations are up. So if you want to bid on the paving for this town, go for it.
They got a celebration for it.
It's seeking bids on repairs and paving of the branch road. I don't know. Bid specifications and contract information can be obtained at the Newry town office during business hours. Don't show up at fucking 9:30 at night like some kind of riffraff looking for
bring the kiddies. We'll have a parade.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So you got that. And going through the years of this place here, like 1890, they had 343 people. And in this year, they have 358 people.
Not doing great.
So it's just kind of stays the same.
Replacing the ones that die.
Sort of, yeah. A few people will leave, few more will come. It's weird. It's up 13% since 1990. Mm-hmm. So it's fluctuated, but it's also down since 2010. So people have started leaving. I don't know why. Median age here is 48 years old. It's a little bit older. Okay. As I can see, it makes sense to me for some reason. A few more females and males, which is the older population tends to go that way. All the child demographics, everything under 18, those age groups are all low in terms of representation. And all the demographics over 45 are all high. Okay. So it's all the Pepperidge Farm guy. The whole town is just him sitting there going, Pepperidge Farm, remember, it's on a porch. Okay. It's the whole town on porches with flannel and overalls, I feel like. I don't know. Making you feel bad about something. So the married population here is about 56%, which is normal with the older people. It's a little bit higher. The single, if you're looking at twice the divorce rate is normal, but half the widow rate, which is strange because there's a lot of older people. Yeah. So it's weird. They go there and it's a Stephen King town. They go there and they don't die. And they just live forever and sit on porches and judge you and get divorced, apparently. If you're looking to party and you're single with no kids and you're looking to mingle, this is not the place for you. Yeah. Single with no children, 0.00% of the population. So nobody here is single with no children.
It's banging.
So no, the race of this town, I think this might be a first. Race of this town, 100% white. Just white.
That is incredible.
All white. Yeah. No blacks, no Asians, nobody, no Hispanic people, nothing. Just white as fuck, which is in Maine, it's like a joke. You'd go, haha, Maine, I bet everybody's white.
They're white.
All fucking white. It's super weird. 18.2 of the people, percent of the people here are religious. So that's super low and awesome.
I think that's Maine, though, right? Is Maine like that?
Yeah, they're not. Yeah. It's kind of a liberal. They have even the conservatives there. It's not like a religious conservatism. It's more of just a leave me alone in the woods conservatism. It's a different type of thing.
Keeping to myself.
Yeah, it's like 6% Catholic. That's the highest one. It's the Baptists to the north. Yeah. But here, it's thinned out. 0.0% Jewish. 0.0% Muslim. Okay. Not having the ski town here. Last election, this is a rural area, 39% of the people here voted Democrat, 52% Republican, 9% independent. So it shows you that it's a lot of independent in this area. If you get close to 10% voting independent, that's a lot. Yeah. In the last election, though, I don't know if they were independent crazy one way or independent crazy the other way. I'm not sure. Who knows? they're living in the woods. I can't tell you. Unemployment rate here is just under 4%. It's about normal with the rest of the country. Median household income too around the whole country, it's about $58,000. Here it is $58,333.
Right on the money.
Right on average. Yeah. All the income groups under $100,000 are higher than they should be, like $25,000 to $45,000 salaries, and everybody over $100,000, all those salaries are lower than they should be. Yeah. So but nobody's. It's like people aren't broke. It doesn't seem like, but the average is kind of.
It's a bit low.
It's a bit. It's all about average, but they don't make nothing. But they don't make. Nobody's rich. Yeah. It's like one of those things. It's one of those.
You won't
get very middle class
doing this job, but you'll have a nice.
Yeah, they have a nice. You'll make $57,000 a year, and you can survive and do well. Construction is the biggest part of I think it's a lot of repairs and shit like that, and because it's about 3 times the average of what construction jobs are anywhere else. Otherwise, it's retail trade, obviously, stuff like that. Accommodation and food services is 3 times the normal because it's a total vacation town. Cost of living here, 100 is average, regular par. Cost of living here is 92.3. So it's pretty close, but the home cost, it says it's low, but then when you look at houses, it's not low because you can't find houses at this price. I don't know if this is just the value, but it says the average home is $145,900. But then when you look at houses, they don't exist. A house of that cost at all just does not exist.
They are not being sold?
No. Yeah. And these are a lot of old houses too. 25% of the houses were built before 1939.
A fourth of them?
A fourth of them, yeah. And like the story we're going to talk about, the inn is like 130 years old.
My
so
word.
It's a lot of old. Quaint.
Yeah.
It's very quaint.
Yeah.
A lot of vacation housing used for rental vacations, more expensive than the average. And if we've convinced you, damn it, to get out on those slopes,
hell yeah,
we have for you the Newry, Maine Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here, see this, if this was real, this would be the way to go. $836, which isn't bad. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,972 square foot, like cabin looking house with the logs and all that. It's kind of in the woods. $349,000. That's about as cheap as you're going to find here
for a fucking log cabin.
For any place, the house. It's just kind of on the outside, looks like a cabin.
Okay.
And I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,760 square foot house. Yeah. It's kind of less land and less cool looking. It looks more standard, like a house. Okay. It says $360,000 for that. So that would be more, it's a little expensive. And then you want to spread out. Yeah. You've been successful. Yeah. You're going to go up here. 6-bedroom, 4-bath, 4,703 square feet house with a pool and a big pool house. An in-ground pool.
Oh, boy.
For the week and a half that you can swim in Maine in the mountains up there.
That's bananas.
There's a pool. Yeah. $699,000 for this place. Which
just a shade under $1 million, but you got yourself a pool in Maine. That is a big fuck you to everybody.
Look at my frozen puddle I have in the backyard. Isn't that nice? Jesus.
You think like when they freeze, I guess you got to drain it every.
Yeah, back east having a pool, an in-ground pool is a whole other procedure.
Yeah, you have the whole thing.
It's a whole thing. You have to do a thing, and you have
to winterize it.
It's a big deal. Yeah, it's a big pain in the ass that people do, and then to open it and close it every year. In Phoenix, we just go, I guess I won't go in the pool for a couple months. It's a little chilly, and then you don't close
it's
shit.
Like 65 out there. I can't get in the water.
Yeah, the cold water's chilly. I'll wait till it gets warmer. Don't have to close anything or do anything. Things to do here. Skiing.
Yeah.
First and foremost. Ski. Ski and enjoy the quaintness. Also, the Sunday River Fall Festival.
Oh,
holy shit. Here we go.
Sunday River Fall.
Sunday River Fall Festival.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. The Sunday River.
Sunday River. And they have a festival in the fall.
Right.
There we go. Celebrate the end of summer. Why would you want to celebrate that in Maine? It's going to be freezing. Shit. Well, then tourists will come, I guess, is how you do it.
Yeah. Come sob with us that the snow is coming.
Exactly. Yeah. With events and activities for the whole family at the annual Fall Festival. Whether you make it a day trip or a weekend getaway.
Yeah.
See, they're constantly trying to push their services. Yeah. We're happy to help you celebrate the best of fall in the western mountains of Maine. They have a 35th annual Blue Mountain Arts and Crafts Fair.
Oh.
So that's going to be big. That's from 9 to 3. The 5th annual New England Cornhole Championship, where they cornhole each other.
Yeah.
And people judge who has the best technique. And bending somebody over a porch
Yeah.
and telling them that Pepperidge Farm remembers.
That's a very silly white people game.
That's God, Jesus, I know. This is at 10 a.m., so get out there early. I don't want you to be too drunk yet. Registration's open. Grab a partner and start practicing now because serious cash is up for grabs with this cornholing.
How much?
The best fucking cornholer in the state. Along with the title of New England Cornhole Champion, which is arguably more important than money.
It's prestigious.
You can't buy that. That's the thing. You can buy other things. You can't buy being the New England Cornhole Champion.
Tom Brady doesn't have that title.
He doesn't.
No.
That's what I mean. He's got rings, but there's a fat guy in overalls going, "Are you the New England Cornhole Champion?"
Right.
Didn't think so, Tom.
Thought so,
That's
Tommy.
what I fucking thought.
Put your fucking rings away.
Get yourself a 6-pack in you, and you can come down, and we can compete on my level.
Right.
See if you can get my fucking field of combat. Let's see if you can hang. Pretty bitch. That's right. Grab yourself a cornhole and a fucking 12-pack and let's go.
Fucking Uggs on, Tommy. Let's go.
Let's do it, Tommy. Why don't you bring your model wife with you, too? Let's see how she is with the old cornholing.
Bring your kids down here and kiss them on the mouth,
Let's
you
go.
fucking weirdo.
I'm going to give her a cornhole and you wouldn't believe. Kiss him on the mouth. Let's go. Jesus Christ. It's $30 per team to enter. So it's no joke.
That seems steep.
Yeah, $600 cash prizes are up. $600. It just says $600 cash prizes are up for grabs.
What is that? 20,
for the
20 teams?
I get for the top 3 teams. You get, I guess, $600 each. I don't know. Then they have the Bloody Sunday tent.
Oh,
which I thought was going to be a religious thing, and I was like, oh no, here we go.
Comes out.
It's actually it's just Sunday. It's actually good. It's actually 110 is dedicated to everything Bloody Mary. We provide the vodka and tomato juice, and you choose from over 25 fixins, including a shrimp bar.
I'm in.
Now we're fucking talking.
Hell yeah.
That's better.
Put some bacon in that
I'm
shit.
like, oh God, this is going to be like you go over here if you want to go warship or whatever. Shit, no, get hammered over here. We even got shrimp. Enjoy. That's great. So much better.
Yeah.
I'm liking Maine. Music festival also they have there at 10 to 3 at the slope side there. From 10 a.m. to 12, it's OC and the Offbeats.
No.
I don't know. And then the next show is Chris Ross and the North.
Oh.
As opposed to the West or the East or the South. He was nominated for Best Album, Song, and Live Act of the Year at the 2018 New England Music Awards. So
I was hoping for some
you also have to be able to whip up a really nice clam chowder to be eligible for that. So he's very well rounded. Let's just say that.
Do it all in a Patriots jersey.
Yeah, and you have to be wearing a Tom Brady jersey while you do it. I feel like that's the law and the rules. Or they also have the Spring Festival, which is the same shit, a little bit warmer and with more drinking.
Got it.
That's that. So nothing more needed to be really said about that. Crime rate in this town, what we are interested in, of course. Yeah. Crime rate, property crime is about 20% under the average. It's not a real big crime area here. And violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. Yeah. Of course, don't forget assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is about 1/3 the average. Okay. So it's way less than the national average. There's
safe.
Very little violence here. The property crime, I feel like, is probably kids fucking around with tourists
all
and
year
shit like that. Who knows?
Every
man.
6 months they're planning a new festival. It takes a lot of work.
Oh, you get people in there. They trash the place.
Don't have time for all the violent shit.
They crash their bombers into the mountains. It's you know how it works. So it's a very safe town. And that said, let's talk about a murder that took place there.
Fantastic.
What do you say, Jimmy? Let's get it on. Let's do this. Wow. This is a weird one. Mm-hmm. This is very much like I'm reading this going, is this just a Stephen King? Are they fucking with me?
Yeah.
What is happening? This is just creepy and weird the way it unfolds. Let's get into it, man. Okay. Right now, what we have to do, we have to go back a little bit in time. Not too far, though. But in Maine, it'll feel like we're going back farther, as we've talked about.
Yesterday feels like fucking 12 years ago.
We're going back to September 4th, 2006, which is approximately 1959 in Maine. Right. Maine years. Yeah, picture, what's his name? The dead Phoenix one.
Joaquin?
No, he's alive. River. Yeah. That's it. The dead Phoenix one and the white T-shirt running through the streets and Stand By Me. And that's pretty much what you got here. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
That was him, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he was he was like the cool one.
Yeah.
The one who like smoked and fucking had problems.
And then died in a gutter.
As the cool kids.
They often do.
Yeah. They're cool because their life is a disaster, which makes them not give a shit, which makes them cool.
Because they're willing to die in a gutter.
They're cool because their parents don't care about them, so they act like they're crazy people, and we go, that's cool. That kid doesn't care. And it's like, yeah, because he's masking a lot of pain.
You'll see. Heath Ledger.
And then River Phoenix dies in a gutter.
Right.
In both the end of the movie and in real life. That's pretty. Rob Reiner's a prescient bastard to put that on film. I know Stephen King wrote it, but Yeah. And Richard Dreyfuss for saying it. I'll even throw him in there, even though he had nothing else to do with it. So, September 4th, 2006, about 5:30 p.m. This is Labor Day, by the way. So this is a holiday weekend in a resort town. Mm-hmm. So it's a relaxing time. This is Monday. This is actually Labor Day.
Yeah.
So this guy's just pissed he has to work.
Yeah.
I'm missing all the goddamn barbecues. I'm missing all the barbecues. I'm going to give him an old-timey Maine voice. He's very old-timey. He's from the 40s, see?
Dreaming of that fall festival coming
That's
up.
it. He's like, oh, boy, I'm going to go see Chris Ross. He put on a hell of a show there at the New England Festival there. His clam chowder, though, I got to tell you, was a little weak. I like mine a little thicker.
It was a little bland.
Work on your roux. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Work on your roux. Jesus.
What the fuck is wrong with me? So, at 5:30 p.m., Trooper Dan Hansen of the Maine State Police receives a dispatch. He's riding around a picturesque area on a nice holiday weekend. He's just, he's expecting a cat in a tree.
Yeah.
Dispatch, maybe somebody, ran their car off the road or something.
Right. Barbecue grill got too hot.
Blew up all over a guy.
Jesus. My burgers are ruined.
I told Fred to start using fucking charcoal. If you can't be trusted with propane, goddamn, the third member of this family. Gotta save. So this guy, he gets a dispatch that there's been a report of a, quote, unattended death at the Black Bear Inn.
Well, that's an interesting way of putting that.
Unattended death. Yeah. So he just says, there's a dead person there.
It's a body, nobody saw it happen.
Yeah, it's just we don't know what's going on. Yeah, which, I mean, that happens. Police get a lot of calls of an unattended death, whether it's somebody in their apartment for a few days or on the street.
Very weird way of saying that.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. The official way they put it. It's just at that point it's a death that nobody saw.
Got it.
So it's not like somebody go, hey, Bob fell down and grabbed his chest. I think he's having a heart attack. There's a dead guy. I don't know.
We found a body.
All right.
Yeah.
They just shrug their shoulders.
I'm on my way.
All right, I'm on my way. Yeah. Unattended death. It's at the Black Bear Inn, which is in Newry. This is a 7-bedroom farmhouse it's picturesque, in the hills rolling, dream beautiful, shining weird, Maine location. So 7-bedroom farmhouse. It's 130 years old. It's this is the meaning of quaint right here. This is what you're looking for with quaintness. So he goes to this place. He gets to the inn. This trooper, it's like I said, holiday. He's hoping that maybe someone's going to have an extra bratwurst on the grill for him or something. Maybe something will be cooking up. Instead, he first speaks with a woman named Lee Graham, and he's the first one. She meets him outside, and she tells him that her husband, Charles Nielsen, has found bodies by the inn, and that they think their stepson, Christian Nielsen, is responsible for this because he told his father that he had, quote, killed some people.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so they're like...
So this went from an unattended death to several unattended deaths to maybe attended as fuck.
Some people, and very attended, very well attended, like an Oscar party. Attended, man.
Yeah.
So
gift bags and all that
shit. Yeah, it's, oh boy, hors d'oeuvres, a Bloody Mary tent with fucking shrimp, everything, man. They had it all. So
the fucking North played the gig. It was great.
Chris Ross was there strumming away, had his trophy for best song of the year in New England. Tom Brady jersey kicking. Right over a corpse, too.
Probably got a splash of blood on it.
They said so we set the stage up behind the corpse, right? Wherever the corpse is, just right there and behind it. That way everybody can hear us while they're attending.
This is the most attended death ever.
We're going to attend. Matter of fact, what ticket prices going? What are our ticket prices to attend this death? So he's... So there's said his son had told him that he killed some people. So this is the stepmother, Lee Graham. She just says, "Hey, my husband's, let's get in there." He said his son did some shit, killed, quote, some people. So then Lee Graham directs Trooper Hansen to a couple of men sitting on a nearby bench, who is Charles, the father, Charles Nielsen, and his son, Christian. They're sitting on a bench. It's at that point he looks over, he sees two men, he hears of some people being killed, doesn't really know what he's getting into. Obviously, he could be lured into a trap. He has no fucking idea. Point. So he pauses and radios for assistance here, which I think would be smart.
Good call.
I don't want to be lured into because no one's going to hear you scream out there.
No.
I mean, if somebody's hiding behind a tree or something to club you in the back of the head or take your gun from you.
The people that are dead, they're already dead. So let's just get some more people out here.
Yeah, it's like in Night Shift. What's the matter? They're not going to still be dead when we get there. It's
let's get some more bodies out here.
Yeah, let's keep the body count to a minimum. Let's call for assistance here. So it's at that point that he knows there's backup coming, that the trooper actually approaches the father and son. I guess they look kind of harmless sitting there. No, they didn't have shotguns in their hand or anything.
Okay.
So he approaches and he asks Nielsen, the son, quote, what's going on? Yeah. Like, what's happening? Because he doesn't know anything. He just heard there's a death.
Yeah.
Went there, I don't know. So what's going on? Let's see if I can get a story going on. So Nielsen here, Christian, the son, he's 31 years old. He looks at the trooper's name tag and sees what his name is. It's Trooper Dan Hansen, and he goes, "Well, I killed some people, Dan." So he said that like you might say to like a server at a restaurant. I don't know, Susie, or I don't know, Billy. It's I think. What do you think is good here?
I'll have the pot roast, Susie.
What's your favorite thing? He said, "Well, I killed some people, Dan," which makes it oddly personal and creepy, but still quaint.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's just like this is a quaint shining. Right. It's very quaint. He said, quote, "Well, I killed some people, Dan. I shot them all." And he said, "The gun's in the house in the tool chest." So just shot them, killed some people.
Interesting.
Not a number of
bizarre
people.
Story.
Not like, okay, this is what happened, and then I did this. Just, well, Dan, here's the story, buddy. I don't know, shot some people. There's a gun in there if you want to get it. We're ordering pizza if you want to chip. You going to chip in? If you're having more than 2 slices, you got to throw a few bucks in, though, because we're going to get another pie.
Journalist ever. Who, what, when, why?
Yeah,
how,
just
bang, done.
Done. That's
Knocked
it.
it out. One sentence, sir.
I'm done. That's all. Hanging. So then the trooper rightfully asks a follow-up question, as you would in this case. I feel like you wouldn't just let that stand.
No, generally that's
oh, okay.
Yeah. Great. We've locked that part up. So
what time is it? It's lunch for me.
I gotta go.
It's lunch for me right now.
I gotta go. Would you mind getting in the back seat so we can go together?
Or if you could just maybe cuff yourself to the bench,
Right.
and I'll be back a little while.
back.
Yeah, because what? There's nobody else to kill, right? You're not going to kill your dad. Maybe, I don't know, but that's his problem. He raised you.
If I chain you there, the tool chest, is that away?
That's what I'm thinking.
Stay right there.
Yeah. Hey, stay away from that tool chest while I'm gone.
I'll be back.
You be good.
I'm gonna head on down and get that clam chowder.
All right then.
They're watching their Roo.
Chris,
Roo? What is it?
It's Roo. Chris Ross said he has worked his Roo to a point now where that's going to really thicken up nicely, and it's going to be a heartier chowder. Because before it was liquidy. It had the consistency of a Manhattan clam chowder, which is not what you want. And in New England, you want something with some thickness. So
good thick white.
That's how it goes right there. So Hansen says, pray tell, what may have happened here to cause you to kill some people?
Right.
And I feel like he's just trying to stall the whole situation too, till more people get there.
Absolutely.
And let's keep this real conversational till more cops come. And so to that, Nielsen responded, well, it's been a while.
How long?
That's the weirdest answer to that. What happened? It's been a while. Pardon?
So you don't remember, or like...
What the fuck are you talking about, you dummy? So then it's at this point that Trooper Hansen advises Christian of his Miranda rights. He does it from memory. He's a cop, so he knows how they said it a few times. And Christian acknowledges he understands the rights and all that. So then Trooper Hansen asks Dan, for being informal here.
Good old Dan.
Trooper Dan.
Right.
Trooper Dan asks Christian if he would like to tell him what happened.
Yeah.
Just wondering, would you care? Pray tell.
Yeah.
What happened here?
Let's get something going.
What do you got? And Christian says, I would like to, in fact, tell you what happened.
I love to. Dan, I've been waiting since you got here.
Nobody's asked me. That's the weird part.
I've given you all the opportunity to ask me.
You're the guy, Dan.
Let's go.
So,
yes.
I'm sitting on a porch waiting for you. Duh. What do you think? He says, yes, as a matter of fact, I would like to tell you, but I only want to say it once.
Oh.
So, when do you want me to do it?
Now or later?
Is it on the porch is the time we're going to do this, or would you like to maybe record it? Or
we going to do this personally?
I am going to one time. You got once, which is a. He's
Ryan Seacrest. I got one take in me. That's it.
That's it, man. He's like Sinatra. That one was fine. Moving on.
Ready to go.
Moving on.
Next song.
Back to one? I don't think so. Moving on. So, oh man. So I did it my way, asshole.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to take it. So, he asks him, he says he only wants to say it once, which is weird. So we have to back up. This trooper pulls up. Quaint scene. Birds are chirping, dude. It's September.
Killing it.
It's pretty. He gets out. This woman comes up. Hi, this guy says he killed some people. There's dead people, and go talk to them. And then he walks up to two men calmly sitting on a bench, and one just says, well, Dan, I'll tell you what happened. I killed some people. Yeah. And he's like, all righty.
You get one chance.
Been a while. I will tell you, but only once. Which is like a weird movie plot. He's only got one time. That's what I mean. It's like a weird he's like a fucking alien Stephen King character.
Or a very threatening dad that goes, I'm only going to tell you once.
I'm only going to say that don't make me come back there. Yeah. But it's so weird because he's like a weird Stephen King character. Like he's like an alien person. Like where did this dude drop in from the sky? And he's just so fucking weird. So Hansen at that point doesn't ask Trooper Dan, does not ask Christian any further questions about the deaths.
I love Trooper Dan. He's my favorite.
He's like, I don't want to be the one to hear this shit.
Law Enforcement Ranger Rick. He's great.
He's just like, well, fuck, you'll say it once?
Poor Trooper Dan.
Probably shouldn't be to me, I guess. Yeah. He doesn't know.
No.
So he says, all right, tell you what, I'm not going to ask any more questions if you only want to say it once. Shouldn't be to me, I guess.
Right.
He says, but detectives will be arriving shortly, and if you'd like to tell anyone, they'd probably be the guys to tell.
Oh, boy, tell them.
They're going to be the ones who are going to be the most interested of anyone, probably.
They'll give you the go.
Yeah.
They'll let you know when.
Boy, they're going to tell you. So Hansen at that point handcuffs Christian and places him inside the police cruiser. He hasn't even seen any proof of any. He doesn't know there's a body. He doesn't know there's dead anything. He's telling him he killed people, so he's like, might as well be safer than sorry and cuff him now. And I mean, this could all be a prank. Yeah. He could be crazy or not have killed anybody. He doesn't know. So he places him in the police cruiser. It's at that point that Hansen turns on his in-car video recorder as well. just in case he does.
What year is this? 2006.
2006.
Got it.
So just in case he does some crazy shit in the car, it's on there because he's going to then walk away and he wants to. Who knows? So after he's placed in the police car, Christian's father, Charles Nielsen, came to the car window and asked Christian, "Shouldn't you wait for counsel?" Like, hey, shouldn't you talk to a lawyer?
Get a lawyer. Bro.
Whatever's, because it's his father. I mean, his father's going to give him good advice. He doesn't even say, "Hey, don't fucking say anything."
Right.
He just says, "Wouldn't it be a better idea, son?"
Yeah.
Like, it's a pretty good dad.
Remember that part when the cop said you can have a lawyer?
Yeah.
Maybe we get you a lawyer.
Yeah, my dad would have been like, "What are you, a dipshit? Just don't fucking say anything to these people.
Talk to a fucking lawyer.
Get a fucking lawyer, dummy.
Lawyer,
like,
talk to
shouldn't
him.
you do that?" And Christian responded, "Yeah, not a bad idea." He's just very casual.
Yeah.
"I'll say it, but only once." Shouldn't he wait for a lawyer? I guess.
I'll ask Trooper Dan what he thinks.
601 half dozen, but Trooper Dan, lawyer or no? Should I just tell you? I'm only saying it once either way.
Damn,
So,
Trooper Dan.
fucking Trooper Dan. So, Jesus Christ. I'm dying about Trooper Dan for some reason. So, Trooper Dan, after that, he advises Christian that it's up to him whether or not he speaks to detectives, because he's like, "Hey, you don't have to fucking talk to anybody, and I'm just Trooper Dan. I don't give a shit either way. So, do what you want to do." And to which Nielsen states, "Oh, no, I want to speak to the detectives. I'll talk to him." Once. But I'll talk to him that one time. They better make that shit count. So,
I'm not doing any of this revised statement shit.
No. You're getting one statement.
There will
one
be no
time.
whiteout. It will be done, written, over.
And if I say it and you go, "Hold on, I missed that. Was that last part?"
Then you missed it.
I said once. You missed it.
You miss it, you miss it.
Get that tape
That's the
recorder
way it
going.
goes.
And sorry. Your pen better be moving quick. So, he's a Trooper Hansen at this point says that, he just doesn't do anything. He hangs out by the car and waits for additional police to arrive, which is smart because, like I said, he's not going to go start walking around the inn or the woods and get ambushed all by himself because he has no idea. He just knows that someone says their killer is right there. Smart. So, it's at that point, he asks Charles, the father, to describe where he had found the victims, because the father said he was the one who found them.
Oh, so he's seen
the
bodies.
son showed the father. And then at this point, Trooper Dan, really all he needed to be directed to was a trail of blood.
Oh.
And he would have found it. He didn't need to really be. It just kind of had to be start there, and you'll find him.
The crimson grass. Follow it.
It was a trail of blood leading out of the inn and through the grass and into some brush.
Okay.
Like you could just see where a human being was dragged bloodily through there. So it's not too difficult. So in the brush, Trooper Dan discovers the remains at this point of 2 dismembered human bodies.
Oh, Jesus.
As well as, I understand, fucking buckle up, everybody, as well as 2 dogs that were same fate. So, yes, you're not allowed to be more upset about the dogs, by the way.
True.
They are grown. They were human beings there as well.
Right.
So, I don't want to hear that shit.
So
I know everybody goes,
he
"Oh, about the dogs." I'm not getting into how that happened, but there's dead dogs.
Did he dismember the dogs?
Oh, yeah.
No, he did.
And the people.
He took everybody apart.
Everybody apart.
My fuck.
Everybody apart there. It's two people, 2 dogs.
Oh,
there.
boy.
Yes. So he did not know. The trooper, too. Trooper Dan has no idea how many people he's looking for.
Yeah, he's got just...
He couldn't ask that. It would have been only one time. So he couldn't ask any more questions.
Good point.
So he was like, if I ask how many people and where are they, that's one time.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm not going to fuck this up.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look around. So he returns to the police cruiser and said to Nielsen, because now he's freaked out.
Yeah.
He didn't know what he was going to find or just somebody laying there. But when you see dismembered human people,
that's far.
That's a different thing. That's not like, oh shit, something went too far and somebody got mad or whatever. You go, whoa.
The other part is like,
you got to be a serious motherfucker to be dismembering people.
Right, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
If you can shoot somebody and then walk away, that's
lots of people can do that.
Spend some time with what you've done and actually do more things to it.
Yeah,
that's too much.
I've read a lot of mob books like that mobsters wrote, and that's like the line.
Yeah,
that's the line with mobsters as far as like
cold blooded and not.
Who's really a cold blooded motherfucker and who's not, is who has no problem jumping in and fucking sawing a body up and
boy.
getting in. They throw, in a bathtub, take all their fucking clothes off, saw them up, shower up, and fucking bag. I mean, they had a routine and a system. And some of the guys just couldn't do the shit.
I couldn't do
and,
that.
And some people had no problem.
I don't even know if I could. I think I could probably shoot somebody in self-defense.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I could just be like pissed off and just
And then be like, well, better take them apart.
No.
Where's my chainsaw?
God, no.
Where is my chainsaw and hacksaw?
I've seen the interview with Kuklinski way too many times.
So it's fucking nuts.
Like, it's messy. It's messy.
Yeah.
It flings shit all over the place.
That's what they talk about. Yeah.
Yuck.
It's
God damn it.
It's some shit, man.
Shit gets jammed in the chain? Fuck no.
Yeah, there's a lot of mob guys that were like, that was their specialty, was they didn't give a fuck about doing that. And so those are the guys that got a lot of work done because they didn't care. They just chop somebody up. They were like, because the whole thing was, okay, we're going to kill this guy. We're going to get rid of him now. If they need a guy to disappear, he's got to disappear. Right. That's a pain in the ass to disappear somebody. They'd have garages that they'd bury them under the concrete and shit like that. But if you're willing to chop somebody up and then go bury the pieces in different places in Staten Island, you're going to get away with a lot for a long time. So anyway, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why this trooper Dan is like, okay, we've gone past the point of I killed some people. Like you did more than that. So
can you call me by my last name now? Because it's getting real weird.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't really want.
What I just saw, and then you calling me Dan. Now it's real awful.
My friends call me Dan. It's just weird. My mom calls me Dan, and now you call me Dan. Yeah, I'm not going to be Dan anymore. So, Trooper Dan here says to Christian, quote, I know you invoked your rights and you want to speak to counsel, but I need to ask this question for the purpose of, and then he couldn't hear what he said on the recording. Is there any chance anyone here is alive? That's all he wants to know. He's like, look, I'm not trying to fucking ask you what you did. Is there anybody that I can find that can be helped, basically, here? Which is, again, this guy is very thorough and very logical. Yeah. He said, quote, I don't want to leave someone out here bleeding, which is fine. And Nielsen responded that, oh, no, everyone's dead. Oh, I assure you, believe me.
Listen. Not many people can live without a head.
And arms and things. It's, they end up, well, we'll talk about that. Later this evening, he waits forever for detectives to get there because this is like a rural area. Yeah. So he's like, I have found fucking dismembered bodies. And they're like, hang tight.
We're on our way.
Hang tight. Yeah. Why don't you order a pizza because it's going to probably be a while.
Say again? You want us to hurt? Can somebody ask Ross in the North how long their set's going to be?
Come on, because it's
almost over.
It's almost over because it's Labor Day. Yeah. It's a holiday.
We'll be there soon.
They're less staffed than normal. Detectives have the day off and shit like that. People are partying. He's
doing his cover set.
He's doing it. The chowder comes after the show.
Right.
I got to stay for the how am I going to judge him thoroughly without knowing
there is a rumor he's playing Tom Petty tonight. So we'll be out of here soon.
Well, we'll wait till after. If he plays American Girl, we'll get in the car. Put it that way. But I'm going to wait for him to play it. I'm going to wait for him to play it, and then I'll leave after that. And Breakdown. I'm going to wait for Breakdown.
That's a good one.
I like Break. Yeah,
it's a damn good one.
If he plays Breakdown and American Girl, we're out. But otherwise, I'm going to wait. I'm going to give him his chance because he'll do an encore. He leaves the stage, you get the chowder, and then he does the encore, and you hold your chowder spoon in the air, and that's how it works. You pelt the stage with bread balls, and he knows that you enjoyed his show. That's how he knows. Poor Chris Ross. This actual guy's going to be doing a show, and people are going to be throwing bread balls at him, and he's not going to understand why.
Soggy-ass chowder balls.
Where's your chowder, Chris? And people are going to be like, what the
what are they talking about?
You keep asking me about chowder, man. I don't.
Why do they keep throwing Brady jerseys on the stage?
He's going to be Googling himself. Is there a guy named Chris Ross who makes good chowder on the Food Network or something? Like, what is happening? Why do they keep bothering me about chowder? This is so fucking wrong. So he's waiting. They're just, arms crossed. He's got this crazy guy in the back seat who's a Stephen King character and his dad on the porch.
Right.
And dismembered
and
bodies,
all these pieces,
and chunks of. He's just like, wow. I should have put in for Labor Day off.
Labor Day.
I really should have put in for Labor Day off.
Terrible to be the bottom man on the totem pole.
That's what it is. He's like the other one.
Everybody's got seniority.
Trooper Chip told me he'd take my Christmas Eve if I would do this, and now here I am.
And now I think I'd rather just be away from my family on Christmas Eve.
I should have just worked Christmas Eve. What's the difference? We don't even do anything Christmas Eve. We do a big thing Christmas Day. Right. So what's the fucking point? Now here I am with bodies.
Pieces.
So, it's at that point, while he's waiting for detectives to arrive, Charles, the father, says to Trooper Dan, oh, by the way, my son told me that there's 4 total victims. You've seen 2 and 2 dogs, but 2 people.
Right.
There's 4. There's one more around here somewhere if you found 2, because there's 3 here and then 1 more in Upton, which is another town nearby, about
Somewhere
a few
else?
miles away. He's like, there's one there also, is what he told me. So there's 4. So Trooper Dan eventually gets direct. How long is he waiting for detectives? This is fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry. If there's 2 dismembered bodies, get in the fucking car and move your ass. I don't care how rural you are. So he eventually ends up getting directions from both the father and the son, Nielsen here, regarding where he could find the 3rd victim on the property. He's like, well, worry about the one in the other town for a minute, but there's another person here. He wants to make sure they're not alive.
Right.
So he finds out where the fuck is this person, and he follows the directions to find a 3rd body, which is located under a tarp about 50 yards from the first 2 bodies.
Yeah.
So, and also dismembered, graphically dismembered.
God,
so,
Jesus.
like all their fingers removed, things like that, like weird.
What is he doing?
Weird things like that. So he's waiting for detectives. Who shows up? Game Warden Norm Lewis shows up.
To be shitting the guy.
That's who shows up. There's
no Warden Lewis. He didn't have a hunting license. Next cop.
This is fucking.
Can we get a real guy here?
I only have 5 trout, Game Warden. It's fine, really. I haven't hit my limit yet.
I've got the stamp for him.
Fuck out of here. What are we doing? Game Warden Norm shows up. So we got Trooper Dan, who seems to be a person who does his job well, knows how to do it, seems to know the law, and seems to have at least an inkling of caring about not letting people bleed to death in the woods, which is great. And then they bring in Game Warden Norm.
Jesus.
And nothing against Game Warden Norm.
No.
He might be terrific. This might be the chance Game Warden Norm's been looking for. He might be the guy who's been in AAA. He's been waiting for the big call up, and he's going to step up and hit a home run in the first inning off the best pitcher in the league. We don't know. But the point is, your best shot is not with Game Warden Norm.
No, it's not.
That's a bad managerial decision. Imagine Trooper Hansen, too. Like, oh, yeah, these homicide detectives are coming. Is that
Christ.
Fucking Game Warden?
What?
Is there a park ranger coming after him? What are we doing?
You guys gonna send the dog catcher too?
What's happening here?
We don't need that guy either.
No, we don't need him either.
They're not running.
No, they're caught.
Yeah.
So horribly sorry. That's terrible. I feel bad for the dog making dog jokes for some reason.
I didn't mean to.
No, but it's the way.
I forgot about him.
The way it. Yeah, I know. That's why. I know. I could tell you forgot him, and then we're like, oh shit.
Dogs
that wraps up into this.
But
Damn it. I got to dance on that
We're
one.
gonna get everybody that's a goddamn civil servant.
That's
in
what
this
I'm
town?
saying.
Is that what it is?
This is Martha. She works at the DMV.
Right.
She's the one who takes your picture for the license, but she's got an interest in it, so we're going to let her kick around and see.
Heard there's 4 bodies in total everywhere.
Tell you what, Martha, you go to Upton and find that other one. Game Warden Norm over here is going to fucking clean up the mess we got here. Jesus Christ. So Game Warden Norm Lewis arrives a little bit after 6 o'clock and approaches Trooper Dan, who was speaking with Charles Nielsen, the father, at the rear of the police cruiser. Like, boy, your son's crazy. Gee, I know he is. Boy, what a fucking nutcase.
Can you believe?
What are you chatting about at this point? How about them Patriots?
No.
What are you doing?
He's apologizing a lot.
You know, he's like, I'm really sorry.
Listen, man, I don't know what happened. I wasn't here.
It's like his second grader went to a pool party and shit in the pool, and he had to come pick him up. And he's like, I'm sorry I ruined the day forever. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. If you chlorine,
I've raised him the best I can.
I'll pay for the chlorine. We had Taco Bell. I apologize.
I told him.
It's fuck. So
shit before you go.
And he didn't. You know how it goes. So he approaches them. And obviously, as he's approaching, he's like, well, should I wait for DMV Martha and, Park Ranger Chip, any other state employees that might want to partake in a fucking murder investigation? So, yeah, they're talking, and Jesus Christ, Trooper Dan here asks Game Warden Norm if he was familiar with the Brown Company Road in Upton because there was possibly another victim there. So he's like, you're the Game Warden. You'd probably know rural fucking roads in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, Charles, the father, Charles Nielsen, suggested that they ask the kid for directions. Like, why don't we ask my son Christian for directions since, he's the one who killed him?
Right.
Probably he'd be the guy to know.
He's been there.
But Trooper Dan here, he states that because his son Christian had expressed his desire to only tell his story once,
right.
There would be no further questioning until detectives arrive. He's like, he said it's only once.
Right.
He's like the Highlander.
I'm not going to fuck this up.
There's only one,
yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's him, and it's his story. I can't fuck it up. Listen, he said only once. What is this? Did a wizard put a curse on his tongue, or he's only allowed to tell a story once and then his mouth zips closed and he can't? What the fuck is happening?
It's Maine. Who knows? They don't know. He's like, I'm not taking any fucking chances.
Somebody call Stephen King and find out why he can only tell a story once, because I'd like to know. So
that is something that would happen in his book.
Exactly.
For sure.
He'll only tell it once. And they're like, he said he'll only do it once. And everybody just stands around going, I don't know. And he's in the car looking creepy, and he says he'll tell it.
Magically his stitched shut mouth.
Yeah, he says he'll tell it, but only once.
You can cut the stitches, and then they just happen again.
They pop it again. Either way, it's inside. It's sealed.
Right.
The stitches are just so you can see from the outside what's going on. Inside, all sealed up, cauterized. Boom. So, it's at this time that Trooper Dan goes looking for the third victim, which he's told is at the inn.
Right.
While Game Warden Norm was left at the police cruiser to watch the Nielsen father and son team here. Now, while Trooper Dan was gone, Charles Nielsen, the father, approaches his son and initiated a conversation with him, telling him that the cops are going to be going to Upton, where you said there's another body to find. So, Jesus Christ, the son here, Christian, says that'd probably be good because that's where my mom lives. So, which I don't know what that matters. It's at this point that Game Warden Norm clarifies that the police are going to be, I'm sorry, not Game Warden Norm, his father says, no, the police are going to Upton to look for your other dead body, not to talk to your mom. They don't give a shit about your mom at this point. You're 31 and there's 3 dead, dismembered people here. Right. Your mom's out of the equation. He said that police would not find the body there, Christian said, because he burned it. So good luck finding it, basically. Well, you're not going to find it because I burned it up pretty good, so I don't know. And also kind of buried the remnants. So it's there. You're good luck with that. So who the fuck is this weirdo in the backseat of a cruiser?
I'd like to know.
Telling his story only once and whatever. Well, he's Christian Charles Nielsen. He's 31 years old. He does not have a real criminal record, only of some driving issues, some speeding tickets. He had 2 drunk driving arrests, 96 and 98. His 98 when he was convicted of drunk driving. The police chief around here, Police Chief Richard Caton III, he says, quote, the name didn't jump out as somebody that we knew. So he's not like this, him, we expect, we've been waiting for the phone call about this one. It's not that guy at all, which is weird. Again, Stephen King novel. He's just, we don't even know who he is. His last problem that he had with any kind of police was in August of 2005, the year before, when he was issued a ticket for driving with a suspended license. So, I mean, nothing violent.
Everything behind the wheel so far.
Nothing red flag. Right. He's an irresponsible guy with paperwork, and he drives when he shouldn't.
Exactly.
Nothing violent, and he's not. Doesn't seem like a menace to society here. At this time, he had listed his residence as Farmington, Maine, which is right near the University of Maine campus. Okay. The place he listed his residence, and they try to get some background on him. They talk to one of his old teachers. They said that he just seemed like kind of a normal kid. He was kind of quiet. He liked to skateboard. He listened to grunge music as a teenager. His parents divorced when he was like 9 years old, and his father was remarried to his stepmom, who was the one directing Trooper Dan there. His old babysitter they talked to, who talked to him and said that he was a gentle boy who liked to fish and swim and skateboard. She said, quote, he didn't pull puppy dog tails and didn't squish frogs. He was a sweet boy. So she's saying, you didn't look at him and go, ooh, he's going to be a serial killer when he gets older.
Right.
Nothing like that. Just he was a normal kid. Nielsen, Christian, studied English at the University of Maine in Farmington, so he went to college. His father teaches English at Dirigo High in Dixfield, Maine. So his father's an English teacher, and his which is funny because some of the statements he makes are 100% an English
Not
teacher.
English?
No, the way he says it, you're like, well, that was awfully formal. And then you're like, oh, yeah, he's an English teacher. So his language is very, very formal. Christian, he completed a semester of college in 2001 and then attended during the fall and summer of 2003 and spring of 2004 and also the spring and fall of 2005, but he's never gotten a degree. So he's got a bunch of credits, but he's never didn't really stay for one big long.
None of it matters.
Yeah, long thing. He's got
as many degrees as I do.
Exactly.
Right.
It doesn't matter that he's been to college for 3 years because he has no degree and who cares. So he had been just kind of drifting aimlessly because that was, he was kind of, he's 31 and he was still going to school 2 years before that. That was actually from, years before. He was trying to finish that up. He's trying to kind of tie together the shoelaces of his life here and do something. Last year in 2005, he said to his coworkers, he worked at a restaurant. He's a line cook. It's kind of what he does for money most of the time. He makes a big announcement to his coworkers that this is it. He is going to straighten out from here on out. Like, I don't know this is some shit you tell like your wife or your friends or something, like, to hold me to task. Right. He tells his coworkers this shit. Imagine if you went to work and somebody just started announcing that they're going to straighten their life. You'd be like, oh, good, whatever.
This area of the country, though, is like marred with drugs at this moment. And back then, probably, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking insane up there.
Oh, yeah.
And he probably, and then he's a line cook, too. Like,
that's the most.
Jesus Christ.
If you ever worked in a restaurant, I've worked in restaurants.
The man has just got so much drugs in him.
If you work in a restaurant, the amount of times a week you turn down Coke is ridiculous if you don't do Coke, like I never do and never was into. So people do some Coke. I don't want to do Coke in the bathroom. At one point, it was like I actually made an announcement like this to everyone. I don't want any Coke.
Hey guys, I've straightened my life out.
Yeah, I'm good. Now, if anyone wants to go out and smoke a joint, tap me. That's we're going. Yeah. But keep me out of the Coke into the fucking bathroom. I have no interest in that shit. So, he tells everybody, though, at a restaurant, this is funny because, like I said, everyone's a disaster. I've worked at restaurants plenty. That's why I say this, because it's you're doing it because you don't have to be there till 4 o'clock. Right. That's why you're doing it. Right. Let's be honest here.
So you can get some shut-eye.
Yeah, you can work
when the rest of us aren't.
4 hours, not go to work in the morning and still make as much money as if you fucking sat in a cubicle all day. That's why you're doing it. It's no other reason. So he says, though, I'm straightening out. No more booze. I'm fucking not drinking anymore. I'm going to get my life together. I'm going to cut this college shit out because I don't know where I'm going. I was aimless through that, and I'm going to join the fucking U.S. military. I'm joining the military. I'm going to go straight and narrow. That's a big decision. Yeah. At 30 years old, too. I'm going to join the military.
I'm past my prime.
I'm looking at their watch like, I think maybe that ship has sailed, Chief.
10 years ago, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, it would have been good then. We don't need you now. No. We're good. So you're going to start having health problems soon, just like bad knees and shit. Like, we don't need you.
You're going to cost us money without war wounds.
Yeah, he's going to be like, my back's bothering me. It's, no, go home. So, he says he's going to join the military, and it's all straight and narrow from here on out. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure, Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. Noom.com, Noom.com. Chime.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
One of his a waitress who at the Family Fare restaurant in Farmington, where he was a cook until he got fired in 2005 for not getting along with his coworkers. So this straightening out thing didn't last very long.
Didn't work.
But this girl says, Kristen, this woman, she says, quote, I thought Christian's finally finding a place for himself. So she was happy for him. After he got fired from there, he got a job at the Sudbury Inn in Bethel. It's Bethel is nearby. They're kind of connected, Bethel and Newbury. It's just a big resort area here. He gets a job there. He's a line cook at this inn, basically. So the owner and people that know him, there's a guy named Kenny Bachner, who's the owner of a bookstore. It's a big bookstore, Devaney, Doak, and Garrett Booksellers in Farmington, one of those college town bookstores. He says that Christian was a frequent customer over the last 6 years and had an unpredictable personality. He said that sometimes appearing very earnest while also being very closed off on other occasions. He called Christian, quote, very bright and said he favored classic literature and comedy books. But he said he wasn't a closet radical or an extremist or anything like that, because the bookstore guy knows what you're into.
Yeah.
So if you're buying crazy, weird, radical books and, you have weird, kind of out there views or something, he knows exactly what you're buying. And he said, no radical extremist shit, nothing like that. He said, quote, I'd be very surprised if any of this had anything to do with any cohesive ideology. He said he just had weird stuff going on in his head most of us can't imagine.
I am blown away by a bookstore owner's quotes. He is a That guy's amazing.
Yeah, he knows it all.
Say that again.
I'd be very surprised if any of this had anything to do with any cohesive ideology.
There's never been anybody on the news that's ever said that in their lives as a witness to something. It's always, I don't think that guy's a bad dude.
I think he might be a Muslim. Right. That's what they say on the news. Yeah,
it would never be anything clever and brilliant like that.
But this is what that
was amazing.
Yeah, cohesive ideology. Yeah, he doesn't have like this kill, thing going on. He just said he just seemed like a crazy motherfucker, basically. Right. I think he just had some weird stuff going on. So they interviewed a bunch of people trying to figure out who the fuck he is. And everybody pretty much says he's got mood swings, kind of leads the nameless life. Yeah. But they said he was harmless. How many people do you know who are just kind of aimless, have kind of shit jobs, and have some mood swings now and then? And that's like a very common thing. It's
just being a person.
Yeah, and especially if you're not happy with your job and you're working a menial job that you don't like and you don't know where you are in life and you're 30 and you're trying to figure out where you want to go, you're going to be moody sometimes.
Hell
that's normal.
Just trying to pay your bills. And don't fucking like it.
Yeah, I'm moody now and I'm happy. So, I mean, Jesus, I get it. Fuck, man. But the military, his ambitions there seemed to not go anywhere. He didn't actually join the military. That was just a big statement one day.
He never got in.
No, he never got in. And instead, sometime in the late spring of 2006, he moved into the Black Bear Inn, the bed and breakfast where this whole thing occurred in Newry. He moves in there as like a permanent kind of a permanent guest, like an apartment almost. There he meets the owner, a woman named Julie Bullard. Her daughter Selby is also in and out of there all the time. And a live-in handyman there named James Whitehurst, who is the Scatman Crothers of the of the Shining here. He's that guy. Now, Julie Bullard, the owner, she's 65 years old. She just moved here the last couple of years from San Francisco. Okay. She just moved here for a change of pace. She had her own bed and breakfast in the Castro district in San Francisco, actually, for years. And she kept that going. She got there and she kind of remodeled the Black Bear Inn. Yeah. She put some, her own kind of design shit on it and made it just less farty, probably.
Sure.
A little more cool, that
hipped
sort of shit.
She San Francisco'd it up.
Yeah, she hipped it up a little bit here. She ran, like I said, this bed and breakfast in San Francisco. In 2002, there was a story in sfgate.com about the city's top bed and breakfasts, and hers was listed in there. And she said she decided to get into innkeeping after 24 years in sales. She said it's a rough, demanding business, which I can't imagine it wouldn't be. But she said she enjoys it and she likes it. She says, quote, "It's kind of like being a mother. I just had to learn to keep a household." So that's it. You're basically, I suppose, those are all like your kids at that point. A friend of hers who helped operate her inn in San Francisco said, quote, she wanted to get away from it all and move to Maine. So that's what it was. There's a real estate agent and a close friend of hers that she has been talking to. And a couple months before this happened, in the summertime, Julie decided she was going to sell the Black Bear. She's going to sell the Black Bear Inn and she's going to move down to New York City because one of her daughters, not Selby, the one up here, one of her daughters just bought a house in Brooklyn and she invited her to come live down there. And she said, the owner here, she said that it was really hard to survive financially running a bed and breakfast in the middle of the mountains, which that seems so hard.
Seems expensive as fuck.
It's so expensive.
And you got to get advertisement to let people know you're there.
Yeah, and then you have to depend on weather, on economy, there's so many factors out of your control that you can have the greatest place in the world and just nobody's going to come there. So that would be really hard.
It's a brutal one.
And anything happens to the property, you have to fix it, and it's a lot of property. So she was having a hard time making ends meet doing this. So she rented a room to Nielsen, to Christian Nielsen on a permanent basis, rather than because she wasn't getting a lot of people in. So she's trying to make ends meet. She's like, well, I'll rent. I don't care if that's income that I know is coming in every month. Fine. So she's not filling the rooms anyway. She lets Nielsen stay there. So she says, a friend of hers said, quote, she loved Maine and she felt very safe in Maine and she really didn't want to leave, but for economic reasons, she was going to sell the B&B and share a house her daughter had just bought in Brooklyn. So, she's been there. They said she's made really nice changes to the Black Bear too. Like it's been the Chamber of Commerce locally said how she spruced it up and really brought it back to life and all that kind of shit. So over the summer, Julie hired Mr. Whitehurst, who we talked about, the Scatman Crothers of the group here, James Whitehurst. She hired him over the summer to be like a handyman type of deal. She offered him a free room there in exchange for being a handyman and doing like some cooking and just being the general
earning your keep.
And you can stay here you can have a room here rather than her having to pay somebody which she can't afford to fucking do. So that's how this ended up happening there. So now September 1st, 2006, 3 days before this happened, 4 days, Christian Nielsen went in a gun shop and bought a .38 caliber revolver. And he returned to the inn that day. That was the Friday. And he invited James Whitehurst to go on a fishing trip. So why don't we go on a fishing trip, me and you? What do you say? We'll go on a fishing trip. He says, I have a cabin. Christian tells him, I have my own cabin. Why are you staying here then? But I have my own cabin. It's in Upton, which is a tiny town. It's about 30 miles away. He said, it's going to be great. It's beautiful. Great lake. We'll go fishing. We'll have a great fucking time. Come out with me there.
Okay.
Labor Day weekend, man. And he was like, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
So Whitehurst, they packed up sandwiches. They made a fucking picnic out of this thing, man.
That's what you do.
Packed up sandwiches. Nielsen drove them in his car. He said, I'll pick you up and everything. We'll take my car. They drove to Upton. Once they get to Upton, they turn down dirt logging roads into what's called C surplus. The letter C surplus. Okay. This is not it's a area name, not really a town name. It's an unorganized township. There's no people there.
C surplus is the name of a town.
It's the name of an area.
Oh boy.
It's an unorganized township. There's no paved roads and no people.
It's not like military surplus.
That's what it seems like. This is where we store the extra shit here. Yeah. But no, it's there's no people there. Okay. So it's just an area that they've named is for, I don't even know why, because
we got a surplus.
Cataloging purposes here. I'm not sure. Surplus of land up in Maine, everybody. So once they get there is no fishing hole and no camp. Yeah. There's nothing. It's just still the woods. Yeah. And so they stop in a clearing to eat lunch. So they set all their shit up. Oh, we'll stop here. The fishing hole is just a little. He told Whitehurst it's up here. They get to an area, and he's like, well, it's a little bit further down the way. But why don't we just eat lunch now?
We'll nibble now.
We'll eat now. That way we get down there, we just get all set up, and we can start fishing. We don't have to worry about eating.
Smart.
So, yeah, let's do that. So they set up. They sit down. They're get their sandwiches. They're hanging out. It's fucking Maine in the sun. It's beautiful out. Yeah. Fucking gorgeous. So they're sitting there. This is picturesque. Yeah. Whitehurst is sitting there eating his sandwich, looking into the trees beautifully, and Christian shoots him in the head.
Oh, boy.
Out of nowhere, for no reason. Shoots him in the head. He falls over, and then he shoots him 2 more times in the body.
Christ.
Just to make sure. Stands over him and does that. Yeah. So, he's like, okay, what the fuck do I do now? Yeah. So he goes, okay, I'm going to leave him here. Because, you know what? What time is it? I have a shift tonight. I got to get to work. Yeah. So Christian leaves him there and then shows up for his restaurant shift. Okay. That's a worker right there. Shows up, but I mean, that's also how they end up catching people all the time. Yeah. They say he didn't show up for work. If you show up for work, everything seems normal for you. That's what he does. Shows up for his restaurant shift. Everybody said he was just normal, just himself.
Just a worker bee.
That's right. So what he did, though, is the next day he went back and doused Mr. Whitehurst in gasoline and set him on fire. Okay. Set him on fire, burned up a good amount of him, and then buried him in a shallow grave off the road. So that's Saturday. That's his Saturday. That's a Friday.
Shit Saturday.
Killed him on Friday night. Saturday he does that. Worked a shift in between. Which is fucking crazy. So Sunday comes around, and Julie apparently was asking. Julie Bullard, the owner, was trying to find Whitehurst. Didn't know where the hell he was. And she was just like, that's weird. Where the hell is he? He's supposed to be here. He lives here, for Christ's sake.
Doesn't have anywhere else to be.
Really has nowhere. He works and lives here. There's really nowhere else for him to go. So Christian apparently started getting worried that she was going to be suspicious of him. Right. She's like, if he can't find Whitehurst, she's going to blame me for it. And then I got to explain that. What do I do here? Only one thing I can do, I got to kill Julie too. Oh boy. So yeah, I'll just kill her, and then that'll be, I killed him, and he's gone, and I kill her, and then nobody will be suspicious, and I'm just like, I don't know what happened to anybody.
I don't know.
I just show up for my shift at work and act like nothing happened. So what he does is sometime in the inn there, he shoots her with what is called a hail of gunfire. He pretty much empties his gun on her there. So he does that, and he's like, okay, I've killed him. I've killed her. I still have to work, though. Sunday night, show up for my shift.
Jesus.
So he shows up for his shift at the Sudbury Inn in Bethel, which is fucking crazy.
My word.
His boss always says what a reliable guy he is.
No doubt.
This is the most reliable worker ever.
I've never heard of anybody more reliable.
Showing a post-murder, and he's like, well, I don't have time to clean this up.
The amount of stress that guy can handle.
Yeah, he killed people, then made your food.
Right.
Which is a little creepy.
A dinner rush? Fuck it. I've killed
I gotta
2
be
people.
there. I've had enough stress today, damn it. Jesus Christ,
I
man.
can handle anything.
Yeah, so he does that. He does his line cooking there and everything. So the next day comes around, Monday. It's Labor Day. It's a holiday. No one's heard from Julie Bullard, and she's got like friends and family, and she talks to people. She's not like a dude.
She's from San Francisco.
Yeah, she's social. She's social. Yeah. Her daughter Selby, who's 30 years old, became concerned. She couldn't reach her mother. She's calling her on the phone. It's 2006. She's texting her. She's calling her. Her mom's not fucking getting back to her, which does not happen. She's very worried also because her mother had bad asthma. And a friend of hers said Julie had bad asthma. She would get into these coughing fits. So that was the problem. So she worried that she's 65. She worries she had one of her coughing fits and passed out.
Yeah.
'Cause that can happen. You lose your air. So she was like, I better go check on fucking mom here and make sure she's not, between the cabinets in the refrigerator, pinned in there somewhere or some shit. So her friend said she couldn't reach her by phone, so she and her friend Cindy drove out to check on her. Now Selby had broken her leg a couple months back and was having a hard time recovering, and her friend Cindy was taking her around, driving her all the time. Her friend Cynthia Beeston, she's 42 years old. So they both worked at the Apple Tree Realty office in Bethel. So this is her work friend Selby and Cindy. They drive out to see their mom there. Now, the only thing that they could come up with that possibly could have triggered any of this is that there's unconfirmed rumors that Christian was behind on his rent, and that Julie Bullard was in the process of going to have him evicted, and that she was using kind of Whitehurst to tell him and kind of be her muscle, basically. So that's the thought process here. It's the only thing they could think of. Selby had told her friend Monica, who works with her at the real estate office, that she was getting bad vibes from someone who was staying at her mother's inn. She never said who it was. She didn't know if it was Whitehurst or Nielsen or whatever, but she said she's getting bad vibes, and Selby thought that one of the tenants might have been taking advantage of her mother, but she didn't know who it was. And so, that was that. So Monday, Selby and Cindy show up to find where their mom is. Sure. They show up at the inn. Hey, what's going on? Where are you? Selby, by the way, had just lost her husband in a car accident.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
30 years old. She has a 12-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son, and her husband just died in a car accident. So that's a rough. She's got a broken leg. So she's limping around, mourning her husband and trying to take care of 2 kids. She's got it rough, and now she's going to go check on her mom. So the whole thing was they both moved out here to get a fresh start, basically. Because Selby was helping her with her B&B in San Francisco. They moved out here, fresh start, the whole thing here. So Selby had run an eyeglass shop, and she did nails and stuff like that. And she just got a real estate license that year and started working at the Apple Tree Realty in Bethel. So she was trying to make a fresh start, move on, do her thing here. Now, Cynthia Beeston, she had moved to Maine in 1992. She met her husband while working at a ski resort. They were married in 1994, and they had a daughter in 1994. So she had a 2-year-old daughter, and going into this, and she, they lived in Bethel. She was a manager of a restaurant for a while, and then she also went back to school and got her real estate license and started around the same time as Selby at Apple Tree there in Bethel. So it's at that point they go over to see her mom. They walk in and are instantly ambushed by Christian, who shoots them both dead.
Oh my God, what?
Both of them.
Okay.
Selby and Cynthia. Shoots them both dead.
Wow.
So I don't know what his plan is, to just stay here and just keep killing whoever comes over.
Yeah.
Is that it?
This is weird.
Just if anyone comes looking for anyone, I just keep killing. This is a Stephen King story.
Right.
Like, I'm in this inn and I'll kill them, and then he's going to look for him, so I got to kill him, and I got to kill him, and I got to kill him, and eventually everyone in town is dead, and he's sitting on the front porch of the fucking inn.
Wow.
That's like a Stephen King short. It's weird as fuck, man.
Unbelievable.
No, it's super strange. So, it's at that point when everybody's dead, and he kills. That's the two women that are found with the dogs on the side, and then Julie was found back there.
Okay.
All of them were dismembered with a combination of a chainsaw, a hacksaw, and a pickaxe.
My God.
Combination of them.
Jesus, that's so messy.
It's fucking awful.
That's a lot of effort.
That's a lot of effort, man.
Oh, boy.
This guy doesn't seem like he's capable of ordering dinner. Like, he doesn't have the effort, the oomph to order dinner, and he's doing this. So, after he kills everyone and dismembers everyone, he called his father, and he tells his father that Julie had gone to California and left him in charge of the inn. Julie went, I'm in charge now.
I'm the guy.
Yeah. Hey, it's welcome to welcome to Christian's Inn. Right. I'm here, right here. So he said he's in charge of the inn. Now, after, like I said, by the way, he was showing up at work the whole time. His father arrives on Monday, and he immediately sees a bloody trail where the bodies were dragged out. And it's at this point that Charles Nielsen goes back and finds the dismembered bodies and finds that their fingers had been cut off, which was another very weird thing. He finds the dogs and everything like that. The only theory they have on the fingers cutting off is that he cut their fingers off to get their rings, they think. The prosecutor was saying later on. And then he thinks they killed the dogs for fear that they might have found the body parts or fingers and drug them out into the open.
Oh, my God.
So that's why they think so. It was literally just to cover up.
That's so many thoughts, though.
That's what I mean. Like, well, then I have to kill them because they're going to do this. And then this one comes over. And what about Trooper Dan? He's got to die.
It's a goddamn spiral.
Who's not going to keep? Yeah, it's at some point he's just going to have like a junkyard full of cars and everyone's dead. And he's going to sit on the porch and he's going to be, hey, I'm in charge of Newry, Maine. Right. I'm the mayor now. I'm the mayor. I run the inn. I'm the game warden. I took Norm's job. I'm Trooper Dan. I'm everybody.
Good God.
What the fuck? So... Wow.
Now serving number 8 at window number 3.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
He's going to be running the DMV.
He's got it all. He's got so much to do. He's got to take Martha's job.
Christ.
Not to mention, he's going to show up to cook at his shift, even though no one's there to eat because he killed everybody. Wow. So they do find his gun right where he said, in the tool chest inside the inn, and they get him to the police, and he confesses to everything. Yeah, I did it. Yeah. This is what I did. He's very... Once. Yeah. His demeanor is excessively Jeffrey Dahmer. Mm-hmm. You know, when they talk to Jeffrey Dahmer in that interview and they're like, well, why'd you do it? And he's just like, I don't know. It's weird.
Fucking crazy.
It's just weird, man. Like, I'm not sure. But otherwise, if he wasn't saying that, he sounds perfectly sane and normal, except if he wasn't saying, I'm not sure why I fucking ate a bunch of people.
Say there was a dick in the fridge?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Super weird, right?
I would never have.
Wow.
Did I do that?
It's strange because, like, if I heard somebody else did that, I'd be like, weird, dude. But then it turns out I did it.
Unbelievable.
That's the demeanor this guy has. It's just very matter of fact. He's not quite sure what's going on or why he did it.
50 gallons of acid. Really?
Really? I built a shrine, did I? Dick shrine, did I?
Did that?
Well, you know what?
Doesn't sound like me.
You learn something new every day, even about yourself, guys. That's the lesson here. So... Wow. Back to the scene here. Nielsen then, son Nielsen, gives detailed directions to game warden Norm over here regarding where he had burned the fourth victim here, Whitehurst, and left him there. He said, everybody says this is without any asking. They didn't ask him. He just said, hey, if you want to find the fourth person, you go here, and there. Yeah. And you'll fucking find him.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah. The only question that game warden Norm here asked Christian question was for clarification in the directions at one point. Do you mean this road or that road? That was it.
Okay.
Later that evening, Game Warden Norm here leads other officers to the location that he'd been told that the fourth victim was burned. They find a fire pit, like Nielsen had described, and a forensic anthropologist later confirms that the pit contained remains of a person. Through testing, they found out was Mr. Whitehurst there. A detective, Jennifer King, from the Maine Criminal Investigations Division. She's the only one without an embarrassing, silly job title name. She arrived at the Blackberry Inn at 7:30. So the Maine Criminal Investigations Unit shows up 2 hours later.
Unbelievable.
This isn't Baltimore where there's like 50 other bodies on the street. This is
Maine.
This is the only person killed,
at
least that weekend, if not by accidental hunting gunfire.
Unless Stephen King's writing documentaries, and this shit just happens up there constantly.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe she was just busy with somebody that was just kept getting thinner.
It just keeps happening, man. There's this weird shop. I don't know. It's just this old guy, and it's strange. So, upon arriving, that she gets there, and the first thing Trooper Dan says, okay, here's give you the lay of the land here. This is Christian.
Right.
He says he's, quote, killed some people. Yeah. We've read him his rights, and he responded that he only wants to tell his story
one time. Yeah.
Once. And he has made mention of counsel. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on here. So this Jennifer King, she approaches Christian, who is...
What's her last name?
Jennifer King. She's
unfucking believable.
Oh my God. Perfect.
Right. She's heard it all.
She's got it covered. It's fine.
You only have to tell me once because I've heard this story before.
King Jennifer comes in here. She sees he's sitting in the police cruiser, still 2 hours in the back of a police cruiser. He's just hanging out, and asked him if he would come to the Newry fire station to be interviewed, to the fire station where all the homicide fucking suspects are interviewed. He said, sure, no problem.
Sounds great.
Hey,
can we
wherever
ride the fire engine?
Can I
crank the horn?
I can't pet the dog, huh? No one's going to let me pet that Dalmatian. Fuck, all right, never mind. Stay away from the Dalmatian, you cocksucker. Don't fucking go near my Dalmatian. Jesus Christ. The firehouse. What is happening here? This is small town murder. You'd never hear of a murder happening in, Chicago, and they're like, so we took the suspect to the fire station to interview him. No, the game warden tried to take him to the fire station. It's like Mad Libs and municipal fucking entities.
And the most famous person from this state and the lead investigator has the same last name.
Same fucking name. Same name. As all
incredible.
It's fucking perfect.
Amazing.
It's perfect. Jennifer King. It's Stephen's daughter. She's feeding him stories of homicide throughout the state. That's what's happening. He's a fucking fraud. He's a fraud. He's doing nothing better than what we're doing.
He's essentially just Law and Order.
That's it. That's what he's doing, man.
Ripping it from the headlines.
Jesus Christ. So they get to the fire station here, and Detective King here brings Nielsen to an upstairs room and takes his handcuffs off. This room's set up like a classroom because it's a firehouse and not a fucking homicide office. So King and Nielsen sit at separate tables opposite one another, little desks, and they read from Pop on Pop. No. Jesus Christ. This is so silly, this interview. Not the deaths. The whole... Everything around it is crazy.
Everything from there are dead bodies. From then on, it's crazy.
It's pretty much the second Trooper Dan pulled up. That's the only normal thing that's happened in this story. A cop is called, and he answers the call.
Trooper Dan grabbed the handle to open the door, and shit went crazy.
Shit went awry. Off the fucking rails, man. It's so weird. So they do that. A second detective is also present. During this interview, this Jennifer King asked Nielsen if he's hungry. He said he was. So King sent poor Trooper Dan. She sent Trooper Dan to get him a sandwich.
Oh, my God.
Fucking Trooper Dan. No respect for Trooper Dan.
The worst.
This poor guy got there, has had to find 3 bodies and 2 fucking dogs he's had to see dismembered, which as just a state trooper who mainly gives out parking tickets, that's not what he wants to fucking do at this point, or deals with traffic accidents, not dismembered bodies, maybe one that flew through a windshield. But
now he's out sandwich shopping.
Yeah, and now he's got to go to the fucking bring sandwiches back to the fire station. Eesh. Like, what? This is not my job.
No.
I am Trooper Dan. I demand respect. But she's a detective. detective. So she says, get your trooper ass out there and go get me a sandwich.
Yeah.
And he says, all right. And he does it. So they give Nielsen a sandwich. He eats. And Jennifer King again reads Christian his Miranda rights. And he states that he does understand his rights and he wants to speak with King right now. Then he says, yep, I did it. I killed all 4 of the people. Here's what I did. Blah, 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 and went over the list of what we did, tells him everything. He tells her, here's a quote from the document here. When Detective Jennifer King asked him how long he had been considering killing people, he told her that he had seen it coming for some time. It was all he had really thought about since he was about 26 years old. So apparently he's been just on having a bloodlust in his mind internally for the last few years, and he's used these last 5 years to try to find other things. Since he started having these thoughts, that's when he went to school, and that's when he tried to do this and tried to do that, and maybe if I do this, I won't want to kill people.
Keep my mind off.
Yeah, keep my mind off of shit or whatever. He also tells her that he would have for sure killed a bunch more people if nobody caught him. He's like, I would have killed way more people.
This was too much fun.
I was just going to keep killing whoever showed up, so it could have gone on forever, honestly. How many people are in Maine? I don't know. That's how many I could have killed.
Yeah.
Whoever, the whole the whole winter crowd, I would have killed them all. So
listen, I was coming for Ross in the north. Yeah. I was getting them all.
I was getting everybody because his chowder, he needs to work on his roux. I've been saying that. No, I'm a line cook. I know a shit roux when I deal with it.
I know roux quality.
So don't fuck with me, dude. Dude's fucking shitty, bro. So his father, Charles Nielsen, visits him at the Oxford County Jail once they book him into jail and everything. He's being held without bail, obviously, because what are you going to let this kid out? I think I want to kill a bunch more people. You know what? Go home wait till your court date. So Nielsen, apparently, the son, smirked through a court hearing on Tuesday, but his lawyers are trying to tell everybody that he's not, this isn't fun. He's not taking it lightly. They say, quote, one of his lawyers says, quote, I can assure you he's not amused. He's not been speaking to me in light banter. So he's like, that was probably just an uncomfortable thing. Kind of like when Lori Loughlin walks into court, she's got a smile on her face. It's just to be like, this is fine. Everything's good, right?
She's walking in there smiling, going, I can't believe this shit.
I can't fucking believe this. Somehow Dave Coulier is not the most embarrassing person in that fucking cast now. Which is saying a lot.
That is depressing.
Which is saying a lot. There's the cast of Flavor of Love. He would have been the most embarrassing person on it. The cast of Rock of Love, he would have been the most embarrassing person.
The Surreal Life.
He would have been by far most embarrassing person there. So he says that he can't explain. That's all the lawyer says. Is the guy says he can't explain why he did it. He said he discussed the motive with his attorneys, but quote, we never came up with anything concrete. He just wanted to kill people. And that was that. The reaction to this town is fucking apoplectic. This is like a nuclear bomb went off in the middle of town. This does not happen here. No. There's all of these inns and all. This could happen anywhere.
Absolutely.
Everybody starts freaking out. I live in the woods. Someone could just come kill me and dismember me. Right. One of the people here, the chief of police, said this is a particularly gruesome and unusual type of crime to happen in Maine. It's a crime of horrific proportions. Yeah. They're like, but still come here. This isn't normal for Maine. We promise. Keep those tourist dollars coming. The Bethel Area Chamber of Commerce executive director said everyone is just numb with shock. It's something out of a horror movie. His boss at the Sudbury Inn where he worked, he said, quote, he was reliable and soft-spoken and a nice, quiet guy. I was surprised and shocked as the next person.
Okay.
Like we said, showing up for your shift, that's reliable.
He's fucking dedicated.
You can't take that away from the guy. No. He's an asshole. Mm-hmm. He kills people and dogs and everything else.
Listen, his follow-through is impeccable.
It's pretty. That's what I mean. I mean, his dismount's kind of poor, but
it's piss poor.
When he sets his mind to a goal, I'm going to show up on time. He shows up on time. I'm going to kill his people and dismember them.
I'm going to take them apart.
He does it. So whatever. So one of Whitehurst's sister, she is super pissed. She's like the kind of the voice of the victims' families here. She says that she's going to drive from Arkansas to Maine to speak in court against him.
Good Lord.
To talk about her brother.
Why don't you fly, honey?
She lives in Arkansas.
That's a good
I ain't
point.
getting on no flying machine.
And a lot of those don't land there.
I ain't getting on no flying machine. I can't see through the windshield. I ain't gonna get on it.
Right.
That's all there is to it. So she says, quote, she's talking about her brother, quote, Jimmie had a big heart. He was trying to regain visitation rights with his children.
Oh, shit.
He had a limp from polio when he was a child.
My Christ.
And spoke with a loud voice to compensate for his hearing loss. So he was a partially deaf polio victim.
What the fuck?
Who was just trying to get visitation rights to his children while being a handyman in an inn.
Unfucking real.
This guy just did not need this shit.
No.
He just wanted to go fishing and eat a sandwich, and that was a great day for him.
Oh my God, it's his best day in
his
years.
Best fucking day. He probably doesn't have a lot of friends either. It's just, there's like, this is so great. I have a friend and we're going to go fishing. Terrific. And he gets shot in the fucking head. She said he was a free spirit who liked the outdoors, motorcycles, snowmobiling, four-wheelers. His remains were sent to what they could get out of his remains, not much, were sent to Arkansas and buried in a cemetery. So that's good. At least he's got a resting place here. In the woods where he was murdered, his son, who was 16, I believe, James Whitehurst II, set up a memorial in the woods where he was killed. He cleared the area and made a big shape of a heart out of rocks and plastic and made a big memorial thing. He put out like an angel thing, and there's a birdhouse and all sorts of shit. In the middle of the heart is a big rock, and he put like a letter to his father under the rock. Made a big memorial for the thing. They put a set of wind chimes up from the tree branches right by where he was murdered. It's fucking rough, man. The families there are very
heartbroken. They're destroyed.
They're destroyed. Nobody expected this. Nobody deserved it. Nobody was living a crazy life where you'd expect to be murdered. His son said, quote, in 2 days he killed him twice. Not once, but twice. Because, he came back and then burned him. His son there didn't leave any other comments. The sister said about the memorial, this is little Jim's way of putting it to rest. Jesus Christ, his mother, Whitehurst's mother, who's 78 years old, had trouble sleeping after that, wakes up in the middle of the night screaming with nightmares. She needs some sort of explanation and closure. She said, how about the truth? That would help. She just wants the truth so she can know what happened. They don't, in interviews, they keep asking him, they keep going back to him and going, they think like if they get him one day and just go, so why'd you do that? He'll just have an answer. Because of this and that. Okay, fine. They need to know why. Right. The only motive that he would give for the killings is that he said Whitehurst was, quote, objectionable, a pain in the ass, and that he, quote, read, and one thing led to another, which I don't know what that means. He just kept reading about stuff, and then it snowballed or whatever. But that's all it was.
It started there, and he couldn't stop killing after that.
That's it. And he said it just happened. He said, quote, this is what they said. The prosecutor said this later, quote, he stated that killing Whitehurst was like looking in the sky and wishing it would rain and then making it rain. That's how he felt about killing him.
That is horrific.
That's
the most terrifying thought I've ever heard.
Fucking disturbing.
Yeah.
That's a person with bats in their belfry there. That is some shit flying around. You can't
you can't shake that.
That's not a normal thought. No, you sitting there, you don't have those thoughts all the time. Like, that's just not. So he's indicted on 4 counts of murder, obviously. Here, he files a motion immediately to suppress all the statements that he made to police on the evening of September 4th, as well as physical evidence obtained as a result of those statements. So he's trying to say anything he said to them from the car and all that shit, he's trying to get that all suppressed. In his order to suppress, the court found that only one statement made by him in the course of his interactions with police should be suppressed. And that was the statement to Trooper Hansen that it had been a while since the killings. That's the only statement they said, because that was right after
So we can suppress the shit out of that.
That's it. That's the one thing. And after Nielsen told Hansen that he had killed some people, and before he had received his Miranda warnings, because that was that. And so he says, when did this happen? It's been a while. That was that. So the court denies his motion to suppress all the other statements and evidence obtained. So at this point, they want to line him up in front of some doctors and figure out what the fuck planet this guy is from. Is he sane? Is he crazy? Is he just an asshole? What's the story? Because they're not getting shit from him. Psychologists testify at a competency hearing that he suffers from schizoid personality disorder and possibly other mental health problems, including possibly Asperger's, which is a mild form of autism, which is not something that makes you fucking violent at all. No,
that makes you way less violent.
Makes you withdrawn for the most part and a little shy. Trust me, It's how it works. So, Nielsen's lawyers here, they're like I said, they tried to suppress other shit, and they aim to have him declared incompetent to stand trial. He's got kind of his defense lawyer said that he recommended that he continue a trial using an insanity defense in hopes of having him receive treatment at a psychiatric hospital instead of state prison. But his lawyer says, quote, he has a right to do what he wants to do, and we respect that. So he doesn't know what's going on here. James White, her sister, Taylor, that we told you about, she says that she doesn't think Christian's not as insane, but more of a calculating killer that she likened to the devil. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of like,
a little far.
It's like calling somebody Hitler.
Yeah.
It's like you've kind of lost the argument at that point, because no one's the devil and no one's Hitler.
No.
It's just one of those things.
There's no sting in that.
Yeah, it's tough. She said, quote, when I first saw him on TV, he had this smirk on his face like, look what I did, people, which I could totally see her thinking that and wanting to fucking smash his face in. That's totally understandable, because any kind of smirk you don't want to see on somebody like that. So a criminology consultant here who teaches forensic psychology, he says that it's really hard to tell what's going on in this guy's mind. He said there's an immediate reaction that he must be crazy, psychotic, or mentally ill to do something like that, and he may be, but there are people, including Jeffrey Dahmer, who are not mentally ill who do things like that. Yeah. And that's what I mean. He has the same affect as Jeffrey Dahmer, just like, I don't know, just had to kill everybody.
It's wild.
Would you have killed more? Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Totally. Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
She said, this doctor said, quote, he wasn't a perfectly normal person who got up one day and did this. He may have been able to keep secret to some extent of his violent fantasies and proclivities to do this. Generally, these things are thought out and fantasized before they're carried out. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. If you get in a fight with your wife and kill her from whatever, that's happened on the spur of the moment, or might not have had this desire. Right. But if you fucking kill 4 people, burn one of them, and dismember 3 of them, you've been thinking about that shit for a while. Because if the shock of the first killing isn't enough to scare you straight, you're into that shit. Yeah. Period. Now, he's in jail. Obviously, he's in county jail. He ends up being transferred to a different county jail because he allegedly, immediately upon getting into jail, attacks a fellow inmate.
God, Jesus.
He attacked a fellow inmate. He grabbed a mop wringer out of a bucket. This is some like fucking Rikers Island style shit.
Oh, that fucking thing with the handle on it that's just like hangs over the bucket. You picked that shit
that's
up?
The shit. That's like the most common thing that people get the shit beat out of in prison, because they have prisoners mop.
That shit is
and they have
heavy.
And they have access to a mop wringer.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking Wu-Tang lyrics, for Christ's sake. Mop wringer style.
That is a heavy son of a bitch. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's out of a bucket and hits an inmate on the back of the head with this fucking thing.
Dear God.
In a room where the inmates were mopping the floor. It's the mop room, apparently. The one of the jail administrators said, quote, it was an unprovoked attack. It was quite serious, even though the inmate that was assaulted wasn't badly injured. It could have been a very serious injury. No shit. Yeah. So they take him he's to be segregated from the other prisoners and put in a little crazy box all for himself. Okay. So he's also placed on suicide watch in December of 2006 after using a disposable razor to make deep cuts on his scalp that resembled the letter X.
Good God.
He's going fucking Charles Manson on us now. This is
on the top of his head?
This is on his forehead, on his scalp. I think like up kind of hairline area fucking is what weirdo. I think. Yeah, the letter X, which is
X'd out of society.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing that deal. May of 2007, he's lost 55 pounds in jail.
Wow.
And he's not a fat guy. He's a skinny guy. And he's lost 55. Yeah, he's a line cook with, whatever. They said his health is in danger, and the sheriff had to go to court to get a court order to force feed him. He has, they said since his first issue with the mop wringer, he hasn't had created any trouble in jail, and they've called him a compliant inmate. However, that the sheriff said that Nielsen, while he was starving himself, he did, quote, articulate his wish to die during his hunger strike, is what he called it, while he put the X on his head. He's been eating little and exercising obsessively, and has dropped from 158 pounds to 103 pounds.
Wow, he's anorexic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's not eating, he's exercising. He's trying to, I don't know if he thinks that's going to make the jail look bad or something, but you're just killing yourself, asshole.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No.
So, he's being monitored. They ended up having to take him to a medical facility in the jail, obviously. The concern, they said, is that he's lost so much weight his body could begin breaking down quickly without intervention. They said our medical staff believes he has begun that slide. That's what adds to the urgency to our request. This was in the court documents for a feeding tube. He ends up being committed to the Riverview Psychiatric Center in Augusta for assessment and treatment. And he remained in jail, though, because he couldn't be transferred there unless his health stabilizes. God, so he can't go to the medical facility to get help for this.
Unless he gets better.
They're like, we're not taking some dude who's ready to die. That's on us then. Wow. Fuck you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not in our budget. Yeah. That's on you guys.
Don't set us up to fail.
No. They said that the Nielsen has been in the jail's medical ward since the hunger strike, and there will be a feeding tube inserted that Friday morning during a medical procedure. So he's got to eat now. Mm-hmm. Now, his case here, I mean, it's got to, what do you do? Imagine being this guy's lawyer.
No.
First of all, he definitely did it. Second of all, he's not really helping very much.
Right.
He's kind of he's making it worse at every pass. And if you're having to explain his courtroom behavior rather than say what an injustice it is that he's there, you've lost the fucking plot. It's like calling somebody Hitler or the devil. You've lost. So while insisting that he's competent, he does acknowledge that he has not read any of the psychologist or psychiatrist reports on himself. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I'm sane. I don't care what they have to say. When he's asked why he was not more engaged in his defense, because he's saying, I'm fine, I'm competent, and his lawyers are saying, we're trying to get him to plead insanity, and he's not fucking helping us. So they have to go to the judge at some point and go, look, he's saying he's fine, he's saying he's competent. Us as his lawyers are telling you he's not assisting in his defense. Right. So crazy people sometimes don't think they're crazy, basically. Yeah. So you need to step in and
makes them crazy.
Yeah, you need to step in and make a judgment here, judge. So the judge asked him, why are you not more engaged in your defense? And he said, quote, there's not much I can do. I'm not a lawyer, so I've just left it up to them so far. Oh, and they're just like, see? Yeah. What answer is that? This guy's like fucking wallpaper. He answered with nothing. So he said he said his own defense lawyers say he's failing in his defense, and he said, no, I'm doing fine. It's them, I guess, that are fucked up. He then says what his strategy is to the judge. He says, I have a plan. He goes,
he's going to lay his plan out.
He goes, I'm going to lay a plan out to the judge. He goes, never mind these fucking lawyers. Here's my plan. He goes, my plan is that I hope to be found incompetent to stand trial, and that'll delay the trial for like 6 months. He's the internal legal shit that his lawyers told him in a huddle. He's now telling the judge, this is our plan of attack, which you're not supposed to do. So he said he's hoping he's going to get found incompetent to stand trial. That'll delay the trial for like 6 months. He says if that fails, he's just going to plead guilty to 4 counts of murder. That's his plan here. Afterwards, the defense lawyer said, no. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's not the plan. He said he was just simply stating what he thought you wanted to hear, Judge. He said that you wanted to hear a plan, and he just put that out there. But that's not really what we're talking about. Like, we're not going to... No, that's not the plan. That's not our...
What the fuck, Christian?
He's elbowing him in the fucking rib. Shut up. Fucking idiot. So to be found competent, he has to obviously understand the charges against him, understand his own situation, and have the ability to cooperate with his defense attorneys. All of those things in a reasonable and rational way, it says in the law. And he says being emotionally engaged is not... The prosecutor says, look, being emotionally engaged is not part of the legal standards set forth by the Supreme Court. As I said, he just looks like he's detached from the whole thing. They're like, he doesn't have to be into it. Right. He doesn't have to be like, this is cool. He just has to like be sane. So finally, they do end up finding him sane. This guy, I don't know who's the one who stamps the sane on this guy's forehead.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Because I don't know that he is.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I get the legal standard for sanity. Right. The legal standard for sanity and the practical definition of the word sanity are way different.
I'm pretty sure this guy is not that.
That's what I'm saying. You can be 100% crazier than shit and be legally competent to stand trial.
You got to not know what year it is.
Yeah,
shit like
that's what I mean. Yeah. These standards are very loose. They have to understand the charges against him. If they're over 4 years old and not in a complete delusional meltdown, they can understand you've been arrested for cutting people into pieces. Anyone can do that. Understand understand his own situation, understand that he's being charged with all this, and have the ability to cooperate with his defense lawyers, which could be just, yeah, okay, let's do that.
Right.
So the standards are so fucking low. You literally have to be on another planet. I thought I was, the high priest so-and-so from the planet,
I am.
whatever the fuck.
It's not I thought. It's I am. That's why this is happening.
And then I thought it even more.
And I can do it because that's what I am.
And it used to be back in the day, the standards for crazy were way lighter. So there was a whole lot of people. Any cases we cover that are like pre-1970, you'll hear a lot of was sent to a mental institution because they were crazy they just looked at them crazy in terms of society.
Right.
They were either
that's not fucking normal.
Insane. You're going there. Yeah. So now it's not. Now it's a weird thing. So now you have a lot of criminally insane people in prison, which is why the prison population, because there's not a lot of never mind. I'm not going to get into the privatization of prisons and how profitable that is, but that's the reason fucking why. So yeah, he pleads guilty to 4 counts of murder and admits dismembering them and everything else and burning Mr. Whitehurst and all that type of shit. This is of course against his lawyer's recommendation to really push the insanity defense as much as possible. He goes, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm just going to go.
I'm really fine, really. So sentencing comes around, and this is the part here. There is testimony from 2 doctors who declare that the motives from the murder remain a mystery. They haven't been able to figure it out either. Science cannot tell what's in this dipshit's mind. The Dr. Anne LeBlanc is the head of the State Forensic Service, which seems like she's probably pretty fucking smart. Yeah. She said that Nielsen is not psychotic, but suffers from a personality disorder with antisocial, narcissistic, and schizoid features. She and a Dr. Charles Robinson, a forensic psychologist who was retained by the defense, both agreed that he does have the capacity to understand his actions, which everybody does, let's be honest here, unless you're drooling and staring into the sky and, shouting chicken parmesan over and over again. You understand your actions. This doctor said, quote, folks like Christian have emotions. I love that, folks. Folks like him, he's not a folk after you murder 4 people and dismember 3 of them and burn another. I think your folkiness goes out the window at that point. Folks like Christian have emotions, but with levels so much lower, they don't impact them. So yeah, everybody has a desire to fucking murder somebody once in a while, but not a desire that then keeps you awake at night and makes you think about it all the time. Yeah. You might be like, I'll kill that motherfucker. And then you go and have a sandwich and watch TV and you forget it happened. Yeah. That's normal. So according to the prosecutor, Nielsen Christian told the police that he aspired to be a serial killer for 5 years, all that sort of thing. And also Nielsen said to his doctor, to the LeBlanc lady, that he definitely would have killed more people if he wouldn't have been caught. His doctor here, Robinson, said that his actions constituted a spree killing, obviously here, where the murders are committed with little interval between them and usually prompted by real or anticipated loss, which that's the thing. They don't know what the trigger is here. Every one of these things, there's always a trigger. Oh, his wife just left him. Oh, his kid just drowned in the pool. Or, oh, this happened. So there's always something, but this is... There's just a question mark. He didn't just lose his job that he'd worked for 20 years and had his whole identity wrapped up in or anything like that. He may have been being evicted from a bed and breakfast. And he's a real transient dude who goes everywhere. It doesn't seem like enough to go on a killing spree.
He'd figure it.
Yeah, he'd figure it out. So, I mean, I guess if you're on the edge,
maybe not.
Maybe that'll push you over. Now, the prosecutor said that Nielsen's illnesses make him an extremely dangerous person, and an uncertain mental state makes it possible that he will reoffend if released from prison. Yeah. So he said he's so crazy we have to keep him in prison. But because he's not crazy. That's what I'm saying.
The logic, Jesus.
I am a logic fucking, I need logic. Yeah. And when I hear shit like that, I'm just like, oh, I get it legally, but logically, oh my God,
shit.
It makes me want to buy an island and set up a logical government there for me and like nobody else. Me and Sarah and the dogs and, that's it. It's going to be all logic based. I've had this shit. Had it. So, discussing the aggravating factors, the prosecutor said the murders were premeditated and that Christian intended to cause multiple deaths. He set out to do this. He also said that Nielsen desecrated their bodies, killed Julie's dogs, and had used a dangerous weapon to both commit the murders and dismember the bodies. Right. So he's just got the full range of aggravators. The prosecutor said...
And he came back the next day to burn the body and hide it.
And then wait.
There's so much aggravation.
So much anger. He had so much time to cool off and so much time to think, and then that killing didn't, dissuade him from killing more people. He definitely deserves a lot here. The prosecutor said this case isn't a tragedy. What Mr. Nielsen did is an abomination. Yeah. Which is accurate. It's hyperbole, but also accurate. His defense attorney argued that the prosecutor was downplaying Nielsen's recent actions. He said that his unemotional personality inhibited his apology. That's the thing. He said he doesn't have an emotional personality. That inhibits its apology, and that he does take responsibility for his crimes. He pled guilty. So obviously, he takes responsility. That's not just the most prudent legal course of action to take.
He's calling culpability right now.
Culpability, yeah. So, there. He also says that in previous murder cases, they only resulted in life sentences if the defendant doesn't take responsibility for the crime. He's like, this guy's taking responsibility. He pleaded guilty. He shouldn't get life. This
lawyer is actually trying to talk about maybe parole one day?
Oh, yeah. He's talking about not life. Because life in Maine is life. There's no parole on life.
Okay.
That's why life's a big deal there.
Got it.
And they only convict people in life because that's all life is life without parole.
Okay.
So you're fucked at that point. So, but the prosecutors wrote here, the defendant has shown absolutely no real remorse or even comprehension of what he's done. His psychological condition and antisocial thinking make it chillingly likely that he will reoffend in the future. And I would probably agree with that.
Side with them.
Yeah, unless you can get some serious medication in this guy on a daily basis, and even then, who knows? Now they let the victims' families testify also, and his sister, Whitehurst sister, drove from Arkansas. There's a lot of emotional shit here. Brooke Bullard, who's Julie's daughter and Selby's sister, said, honestly, my first thought was any form of torture permissible by law every day about him, which is like, wow, that's okay.
Any and all every day.
Whoa. Diana Taylor, Whitehurst's sister, said he destroyed our lives. Selby's sister also said, shame on you, Christian. How dare you play God? They read a letter from Selby's 10-year-old son.
What?
I won't read anything from that because it's too much, but holy shit. Will that make you get...
Yeah.
Whew.
I got a 10-year-old, and I know what he can write.
That's victim impact, man.
Oh,
boy. That is rough shit.
That impacts as fuck.
It's bad stuff.
Direct hit.
It's a bad one.
Yeah.
They also spoke of the effects on the murders on their own lives. Brooke Bullard said she became anxious and fearful for her own safety and that of her children, impatient and intolerant of people, and just been very anxious and everything else. Julie Bullard's sister, said, quote, I've lost my faith and I've lost my belief in the goodness of the people around me, which is rough here. Cynthia's brother, Selby's friend Cynthia, who got killed there, said, quote, not a day goes by that I don't cry when I think of her. My life and countless others will never be the same without her. So obviously people are fucking upset. He's wiped out 4 people. These people had kids, and every one of these people had kids and families and everything else. I feel bad for Selby's kids because their dad died in a fucking car accident and they lose their mom now. And by the way, grandma will take care of you. No, she won't, because she's also dismembered in the fucking woods. So it's brutal. Now, Charles, Christian's father, Charles Nielsen, he gets up and apologizes. This fucking poor guy.
If I'm him, I don't even show up.
That's what I mean. He's embarrassed, this guy. Unless you did something torturous to this child where you think you caused this thing, you're just got to be, I feel bad for this guy. He apologized for the grief and emptiness that Christian's actions caused everybody. When he finished speaking, he turned to his son and he said, Christian, I love you. So he's trying to be a good dad. I mean, just Jesus Christ, man. This is brutal. Christian's mother is there. She said, I can only pray that the grief which fills people's hearts today will heal in time. What is she going to say? She didn't fucking do it. Nielsen's family asked that he receive help for his mental disorders. That was their plea, basically. His sister said, quote, no one in their right mind would do the things he did. He's sick and he needs some help. There is some good that can still come of this tragedy. I don't know about that.
Not really.
I think we're pretty good throwing him away for a while. Now, midway through his sentencing here, he turned around in the middle of the thing and toward the victims' families and told them, quote, I'm sorry for what I did. But that's all he said. He just turned to them and said, I'm sorry for what I did. And They did not accept that. The Cynthia Beatson's mother, Cindy Beatson's mother, she said the apology was, quote, empty and disgusting.
Yeah.
Which it sounded like, hey, sorry for what I did.
Right.
Like, you're not a kid that broke a lamp.
But what did you do?
Yeah,
do you know?
Do you know what you did? That's what I mean. It's like, that's a little child.
Ugh.
Sorry. Yeah. My bad. The assistant attorney general called the apology, quote, grossly insincere.
I would say so.
I would agree with that. The defense here, now they're trying to mitigate here. They said that they're like, well, he's been cooperative with police. Yeah. That's something.
Remember that part?
Remember that? One time he said it. He gave him the story. Yeah. They said that he was trying to improve his life before the murders, and he was making an effort. She said, his mental condition may be treatable in the future. We don't know what science is going to bring us that's literally what they said. In the future, we don't know if his mental condition could be. In 20 years, you might be able to give him a shot, and he'll be perfectly sane.
Didn't see Back to the Future?
That's what I mean.
We might have hoverboards.
You don't know this. Don't keep hoverboards from my client. It's unconstitutional. So that's what they're saying, though. That's their that's their way of trying not to get life. Maybe they'll have a pill in 20 years that'll make him not crazy, and then he's fine. So you can't put him
like build fences and shit.
Yeah. So based on future science, she wants him to go there. And she also said, quote, I disagree with Mr. Benson, who's the prosecutor, that he would commit these terrible crimes again. Based on what?
He said he would.
He said he would.
Right.
He's got no control. He said when he killed someone, it felt like he asked for rain and got it. That's fucking...
That's disgusting.
That's a release. That felt good to him.
Right.
That's what serial killers do.
He loved it.
Wow. So the judge did agree with some of the defense argument. He rejected the prosecutor's arguments that the murders were for financial gain based on stealing the rings or whatever, and also that Christian had taken trophies by cutting the fingers to remove their rings. He also said that Christian's criminal history, consisting of 7 misdemeanor motor vehicle offenses, was minimal. No history of violent crime. He's talked about this. Dr. Charles Robinson talked to him 20 times and still is completely puzzled at the motives for this whole thing, which is, he quotes the doctor saying, quote, the doctor said, quote, I feel like I do not understand what has happened to him. He quoted that.
Anybody would.
Absolutely. And also the judge said, quote, Christian Nielsen is not in denial about what he did. When all is said and done, Christian Nielsen has committed 4 of the worst criminal acts in recent Maine history. He says mitigating factors are not enough to reduce the sentence. You, sir, may fuck off 4 life sentences to be served consecutively.
Oh, shit.
And he made a point to say, since life sentence has no possibility of parole here, this is symbolic. He said that the 4 individual sentences would allow family members to know that he was serving a term for each of them. Basically, it's just a symbolic thing because, it really doesn't matter.
Never getting out anyway.
He ain't getting out is what it is here. He dismissed, but the judge in generally, though, he dismissed a lot of the aggravators put forth by the prosecution. They were like, look, calm the fuck down.
We only need one.
And to the defense, it was like, calm down there also.
Right.
He's a crazy fuck and I don't want him on the streets anymore, and I have the power to make that happen. So
you guys are treating these charges and mitigators like a fucking it matters, like a kid at Halloween at the house with just the bowl open. Only take one and we'll move on.
Yeah, take a fucking blow pop and keep going, you asshole. So it's symbolic. The sentence was, they said, by the time they came to make a ruling, the sentence was even more severe than, because originally the prosecutor though had asked for 3 life sentences to be served consecutively, and he got 4. So they ended up getting more, even though they got a lot of their shit. I don't know what more he wanted. The judge said, I think that there is net mitigation, is what he said. But when all is said and done, Christian Nielsen has committed the 4 worst acts in criminal recent history. So he has 21 days to appeal. The family here, the Selby's sister, said, quote, we are relieved that we are not subjected to a full trial, and we are grateful that the state has imposed the highest possible legal penalty, honoring the value of each life that was taken. So the families were satisfied with the results, but there's still appeals. to go.
Yeah.
And there's some appeals based on some interesting legal shit here. He contends his statements to the police must be suppressed on numerous grounds. He said that suppression, all that evidence that they have is bullshit, is what he's saying here. He said he was in custody at the time he made his initial incriminating statement to Trooper Dan, and thus his statement was taken in violation of his Miranda rights.
Okay.
Now, let's read a drop of the law here, because not everybody's clear on this, and if you're from another country, you're probably definitely not clear on this. So if a defendant invokes his right to counsel at any time during the interview with police, he's not subject to further questioning until a lawyer has been made available or the suspect himself reinitiates the conversation. There's so many gray areas and loopholes that we've talked about multiple times on this shit when it comes to that. But they say here that in order to invoke your Fifth Amendment right to counsel, you must do so unambiguously. So it can't be like, I kind of want a lawyer. It has to be like, I'm not talking because I want a lawyer right now.
Yeah.
That's what it has to be. If a suspect makes a reference to an attorney that's ambiguous, in that a reasonable officer, in light of the circumstances, would have understood only that the suspect might be invoking the right to counsel, our precedents do not require the stopping of questioning. So they said, however, an ambiguous assertion of the right to counsel allows further inquiry into whether the defendant is in fact invoking his right or he wishes to continue without. So you don't have to shut up at that point. They say once in custody, a defendant does not necessarily invoke his right to counsel every time he uses the word attorney. Because that's what a lot of people think. If you just say, well, I want an attorney, then they think that you have to be very clear about it. But people don't know that. That's the thing. That's the problem. This almost needs to be from this will be 2 seconds, but from a really like picky legal standpoint, this almost needs to be like, what's in their mind? Do they think they're invoking counsel? Because they don't, not everybody knows the constitutional exacts of Miranda.
Right.
The general person off the street doesn't know shit about it. So
yeah, that's me.
Yes, I mean everybody. Yeah. So I mean, I'm reading from statutes. That's the only reason why we know what we're talking about. But other than that, we wouldn't know shit. So it should kind of be: did that person think he was invoking his right to counsel? I think, or something of that nature. I don't know. They talk about a specific case where someone was questioned by investigating agents, and he said, "quote Maybe I should talk to a lawyer." You see this if you watch the first 48. Every single person says, maybe I should talk to a lawyer. And they go,
maybe you should.
What do you need a lawyer for if you didn't do anything?
You got something to hide?
And then they go, oh, yeah, they don't.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's why you don't say maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you got a cop in the box and you asked him one question, he'd be like, fuck you, lawyer. I ain't saying shit, because they know better.
Yeah.
They wouldn't say, that guy's not there to help you.
No.
That David Simon homicide book, there's a whole chapter on this. The homicide cop is not your friend, and he's not there to help you. He wants you to sign an incriminating statement. So that's the whole point of what we're doing here. They're not going to help your ass. So, they talk about in one statement, someone said his right to an attorney meant that he should wait until, he said, I should wait until I see my lawyer. And that was found to be an ambiguous, even.
Really?
I should wait till I see my lawyer, even is ambiguous. He didn't say, I won't talk until I have a lawyer.
You have to say it.
You have to say it very sternly. So, they said finally a defendant's statement that he talked too much on the way talked too much the way it is anyway without a lawyer doesn't amount to it either. So there's several different standards they tried to put. He also says the Miranda warnings administered by Trooper Dan were not okay. They were defective, as he called it. Defective. It sounds like you got a Blu-ray player that's not
lemon.
Working. Yeah, it's like, this is old shitty Blu-ray player from 5 years ago. I took out of my closet and it's not working. I don't know what's going on here. So they found in the present case, the court found the only statement made by Christian that could possibly be construed as an invocation of the right to counsel was his statement in the police cruiser in response to his father's question of whether he should wait for counsel, and he said that it was, quote, not a bad idea, which is not a direct.
It's ambiguous as fuck.
That's not what I would call an unambiguous, asking for counsel. The court also found that Trooper Dan thereafter told Christian that it was his decision whether or not he spoke to detectives. Right. Trooper Dan treated him up straight up. Yeah. He really did. And that Nielsen responded that he wanted to talk, and the record supports these findings. Okay. They also agreed, the court also has to address what weight should be given to Trooper Dan's statement to Nielsen upon returning to the police vehicle after finding the bodies of the first two victims, that Hansen knew Nielsen Nielsen had, quote, because he said, I know you invoked your right to speak to counsel, is what he said to him. The court determined that although this statement could lend support to a finding that he had invoked counsel, it more likely resulted from the stress of the situation and Trooper Dan's desire to honor his request to only tell his story once.
Right.
Only once.
Right.
Accordingly, the court concluded the overall circumstances did not lead to the conclusion that Nielsen at any time invoked his right to counsel. So they say we agree with that. They say that waiting is not a bad idea, is not the kind of unambiguous invocation to the right to counsel that's required by law. They also said the extent of the statement is just ambiguous and bullshit, basically. They said that, Trooper Dan's I know you invoked your rights shit is just, it's all for context, and it doesn't fucking matter. They said when questioned regarding his statement, Trooper Dan testified he had not intended to imply that he invoked his right to counsel, rather that he stated that he was merely showing respect for the defendant's desire to only tell his story once by making clear that he only wanted the defendant to tell him where the third body was so he could make sure that the body was not alive and injured. So they said it's conceivable that Trooper Dan's explanation is merely after the fact rationale. The context in which the statement came does not support that conclusion. It shows that Hansen was for a period of time the officer in charge of a grisly multiple homicide and had just prior to that statement discovered the scattered remains of human bodies.
And did not want to be.
It's a little stressful. Yeah, is what they're saying. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you're taken aback when you find fucking dismembered human bodies and dog bodies for that matter.
Sure.
That's also just as disturbing. So, they said it was perfectly understandable that he might not precisely craft his question at that point to the defendant, which makes perfect sense. They said the state met its burden of proof by proving the evidence. Through all of this, they discerned no error in foregoing the analysis here for Trooper Hansen's statement, and they said that he did not knowingly or intelligently, voluntarily, he said he didn't waive his rights. They say he did by doing that. They say that finally, even if we were to agree with the suppression court's analysis, we reiterate that whether a subject has invoked his Miranda right to counsel is objective, and it's a subjective thing, basically, is what they're talking about. And for reasons they've explained, the court correctly concluded none of the statement should be suppressed. Nothing is there. All the evidence stays. We find Nielsen's remaining contentions to be without merit and do not separately address them. You, sir, may continue to fuck off.
Forever.
Judgment affirmed.
Yeah.
He's in prison forever.
Good.
He will die in a Maine prison.
Fantastic.
At some point, and no one will ever know what the fuck was going on in this lunatic's head. And I'm not sure what's happening. But
I'm pretty sure without this, nobody would have known that man was there.
No, that's the thing.
This is I can't believe this is real. I've never heard of anything.
It's fucking nuts.
Why is this not front page news?
If you look up like crazy Maine stories,
right,
or some shit like that, it'll come up on a list of those. But if you don't live in the fucking ski resorts of Maine, you don't know
Nobody's
shit.
Never heard of this.
No one knows this.
Wow.
It's fucking crazy. It's barely out there. This is nuts.
Yeah.
You could make some sort of weird. Well, Stephen King would just write a story based on this.
Yeah.
Maybe Jennifer King will step her game up.
Yeah, get to work.
You know what, Jennifer King? You got the name.
You do.
You're in Maine.
Yeah.
You have access to all these stories.
You're related.
Fucking
you don't have
some.
to say shit. You don't even have to answer the question.
Just put King on the top of the book, written by King, and then make it like it's just some creepy cover and have the story description be a Maine murder story. People be like, oh, it's a new Stephen King.
You'll crush.
You'll sell what?
You'll be a New York top seller for sure.
Hundreds of thousands of copies, easy. You're fucking set. Not bad, Jennifer King. So that, my friends, is Newry, Maine.
Unbelievable.
And that is Christian and Nielsen, and it's a terrible tragedy there. James Whitehurst and Julie Bullard, Selby Bullard, and Cynthia Beatson. Beatson.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
So
bad. That is all those people, and what a fucking disaster.
It's horrible.
I read this story initially, and I'm just like, but when do they get to why?
Yeah.
And it's just like the fact that they never got to why made it all the more fascinating for me.
Man.
That's what made him a Stephen King character to me.
Yeah.
It was like just a weird, I don't know, creepy shit. But if you like creepy shit like that, you know what you can do?
Yes.
Goddamn tell us about it.
You're damn right.
Yeah, you can do that. You can get on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, the purple icon there on your phone, and give us 5 stars. It really, really helps us out a lot. Helps drive us up the charts like you would not believe. We don't understand why. It's iTunes and their funky algorithm. It's not us. We wouldn't care either way, but they make us do it. So, or they make
they make it matter.
Necessary.
Right.
Yeah. So if you could do that, please give us 5 stars. Just doesn't matter what you're saying. Just tell us you're following instructions or something. It's not for our egos, like we said. Also, please go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yes.
For all of your small town murder and crime and sports needs.
Right.
T-shirts and everything else, but mainly tickets.
Buy the tickets.
Tickets.
Let's go.
Orlando, Tampa, Cleveland, Columbus. We're looking at you.
Yep.
You fuckers are first up. Set the tone.
Yep.
Set the tone and make it a good tour.
Right.
So we don't go in every other city angry.
Right.
That'd be good. We don't want to do that.
In Game 6 and come throw 4.
Come fucking through.
Set the tone.
Do some shit, please. We would love that. Come out and see us. We have so many live shows up there. All sorts of shit. Charlotte's on sale. That's new.
Oh, yeah.
And also new we have a crime and sports live show too.
We do.
And it's going to be it's going to be a doozy. So come see that. It's in Phoenix, October 19th.
At CB Live.
There you go. CB Live. So come check us out there. Bother them for tickets.
Yeah.
They're not on sale yet, and we don't know why. So
make them on sale.
Email them and call them and social media, bother them, and just pester them until they put them on sale. Because they will. Comedy clubs will fold with money.
They love money.
If you show up with money, they have a real hard time going, we can't take your money yet. Right. They're like, but they have money. We should just take it. Let's just take it before they don't want to give it to us anymore. That's how they think.
What if they choose to do it somewhere else tomorrow?
What if people stop coming here tomorrow? That's how they think. Like, then we're fucked. Just take their money. Take it now. So please do that and help us out a lot there by doing that. What else we got to deal with? Social media. Yeah. Follow us on social media, especially for kind of these weird announcements like when the Charlotte tickets went on sale, live show type of things, and other stuff that comes up. Social media, we are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. So follow us there. Also follow at Crime and Sports on all those and check us out there. And if you want to be a hero of ours and be one of our producers who we're just going to talk about in a moment here, and we can't express to you how much these people mean to us because these people, they don't have to.
No.
That's the thing. This is a free show, man. It's a free show. You guys can listen, and you can fucking listen in private and never tell a soul about it, and not give us a dime, and no one will yell at you or come to your house and call you a dick.
Right.
It'll go right. No one will care. You can do it totally, and we won't even call you a dick. We'll say thanks for listening.
Right.
You can do whatever you want. But
that's a big part.
These people go out of their way, just out of the goodness of their hearts, because they feel like we give them a lot of content and they appreciate the content, and they go, well, shit, I should probably pay something for all that content.
Certainly.
And they do, and they're fucking amazing for doing it. We can't thank them enough because they're the people that really make the difference for us in making this a viable enterprise. So thank you guys so much for all of that. And if you want to be one of those people, you can do it very easily. You can do it over at patreon.com/crimeinsports, or head over to PayPal, use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com, or you can find both of those links right from Shut Up and Give Me Murder while you're buying your Pocket Robin t-shirt and your Charlotte fucking tickets, or your Orlando or your Cleveland tickets.
Yes.
One of those damn tickets. Also, San Diego, there was a little kerfluffle about this. For some reason, that venue had standing room seats for sale.
We didn't know.
And we put a stop to it. So we found out there was a few dozen of you, more than a few dozen, almost 100 of you that bought standing tickets that you're not going to be standing. So we're going to upgrade you to the other tickets that were more, the seated ones were more expensive. It's not on you guys.
It's not your fault.
We're going to eat that cost. We don't give a shit because we want everybody to be comfortable.
I'd rather lose money than you guys be pissed.
Yeah, and we're shutting down that, so the whole back of the room will be empty, the standing room. So you have no idea how much money we're losing to make it a good show.
Right.
Because we can sell like 250 more tickets, and rather than sell those tickets that are all money in our pockets, we are going to not sell any of those tickets and actually eat money to upgrade people because we don't want anybody standing and not enjoying the fucking show.
Be seated with a drink, laughing and enjoying yourself, because that's
fun.
what the whole thing's for. You're not supposed to be there pissed off. You're supposed to be there having fun.
Well, not only that, we're not standing.
Right.
So why would we
make them?
Why would we make you fucking stand? That would be dick as shit to make you stand.
Right.
So we're not going to do that at all. So thank you for everything like that. And without further ado, Jimmy, for no reason that you can explain at all in your brain, dig deep but have no explanation, but still hit me with that list of producers.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett, Justin Miller, Erica Larson, John Sabrisi, Shannon Feltus and her podcast, You Are That, Jesper Wernerson, Amelia Penko, and Dylan Mundy and Muriel Mundy had their first anniversary.
Hey,
so happy
congratulations.
anniversary to both
Thank
of you.
you. Jesus.
And thank you very much, all
Heroes.
of you, for really coming through for us.
You're all incredible. Thank you guys so much.
We also have Esme Alford, Karen Hinton, Jason Elsis, Thomas Smith, Jeff Rapp, Jennifer Strong, Bruce Harms, Brendan Abels, Jen Rogers. Is that Jen or John? I think it's John. It might be Jen. Oh, shit. No, that's John. That's John
Hey,
Rogers.
John Jen. Thank you. Thank you, John Jen.
It might be Joni Rogers.
Joni. Joni!
Fuck, I write terribly.
Joni!
Kelly Higby, Stephanie Alexander, Liz Vasquez, Ink Stained Studios, Jesse Hartman, Mike McGinnis, James Martyr, Tyler Forsyth, Christine Womack, Samantha Quigley. What did I do? Is that Corey? Oh, no. Carly Howard, I think.
Fucking handwriting. Type this shit out.
Why did I do that?
Good God.
Gary Howard.
Gary Howard. Yeah, we know Gary Howard, too. Thanks, Gary.
Sorry, Carly.
He's driving around in a truck going,
Jesus
Gary, you fucking idiot. It's Gary. I'm in a truck. You know me. I've met you 8 times.
Siobhan Howard.
Thanks,
no,
Gary.
Siobhan Brogan. Tim.
Please, next time you come to a live show, Gary, make fun of Jimmy for that
don't
after the
kill me,
show.
please.
No, kill him, but make fun of him during the meet and greet.
Tim Maney, Kylie Clancy, Trace Childs, Courtney Fligler, Tyler Gwill, Alex Ball, David Cohen, Julie Crum, Louise May.
Pardon? But go back to Alex Ball for a minute. That's
Alex
a good name.
Ball, David Cohen, Julie Crum,
Okay.
Louise Rayfield,
There we
Eric
go. If I get you on a roll, it would just come out.
Eric Michael Showers, I hope you do. Jude Kendall, Sam May, Stephen Rude, Amy Northrup, Michael Bustamante, Lynn Gross, Adam O'Daney, Jenna Lynn Wolf, yes, Sean
Yes.
N, Krista Walker. Thank you so much, Krista. I hope
Thank
you're doing
you.
better.
Yeah.
Abdul John or Jan, and then there is also Adam Rothman, Rachel Fincher, Alicia Massey, Rokio Valdez, Taylor Hahn, Scott Barr, James Aselta, Yi Jing Tan, Michelle D. Mills, Dan McCabe, Noki Wheeler, Geneva Thornhill, Kayla Marquardt, Alex Hopper, Jason Stone, Tina Russell, Ricky Bryant, Fiona McKeon,
Hey.
Wendy Skedsel, Adrian Thomas, thanks again, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Alyssa Camacho, Hank Hollander, Catherine Krunenwetter, Jeremy Binder, and Jonathan Jarisovich. You guys, thank you so much, especially Carly Howard.
Thank you, everybody, from the bottom of our hearts. We cannot thank you enough for all that you do. And we say it all the time, but we can't express it enough, and we mean it more than we say it. We'll put it that way. Thank you for everything you do. And what if everybody wanted to thank you for something that you did, Jimmy? How did they do that?
You can thank me over at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And you can tell me what I don't care, whatever's on your mind.
You got.
I appreciate it. What about you?
You can find me at Jimmy P is funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description, because honestly, you don't want to spell that. No. Who wants to spell Pietragallo? Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. Just do that and everything like that, and keep coming back and seeing us all the time, because we're going to be back. We find crazy stories; they never get less crazy. Mm-hmm. So we'll be back next week with another crazy story in another part of another part of the country, somewhere else weird and quaint and odd. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.